Welcome back to another episode on the MOD Balls page. In today's episode, we're going to be doing the 2025 NFL mock draft. All right, so like I said, in today's episode, we're going to be doing my final 2023 mock draft. Tomorrow, I'm going to be releasing a video with my official draft board. And in today's episode, I want to apologize to anybody who listened to my mock draft, my 2-round mock draft. I had accidentally not edited it. I edited it, but I didn't render the right file, and then I deleted the file. So like I spent 2 days editing a video just to delete it and upload the raw version. So to anybody that watched the raw version, I'm sorry to, kind of disappoint you, but hey, let's cut the mic, cut the music because with pick 1 in the NFL draft, the Tennessee Titans will be selecting Cam Ward. This is a pick that I don't feel like I have to explain too much. This is a pick that's somewhat already confirmed. Cam Ward was the best college quarterback last year. He also has upside. So being a really good college quarterback while having upside and being young, that's just something the Tennessee Titans got to grab at. And what I'm going to do different between this draft and my other mocks, I'm going to make this a little quicker. I already did the 3-round mock draft. I thought a lot about these picks. I revised some of the picks, and this is where I'm set at. And at pick 30, where do they select that? At pick 35, with the second round pick for the Tennessee Titans, they will be selecting the wide receiver Cam Ward was throwing to in Xavier. He's someone that Steve Smith, first of all, kind of said is his guy. And y'all, if y'all know Steve Smith Sr., every time he has a my guy, it hits. And he's somebody that also played with Cam Ward. It worked out, 1,000-yard receiver with Cam. So like, let's just keep him comfortable in Tennessee, and Cam is the only 10 I see. But in the third round, Titans don't got no picks. So on to the second pick in the NFL draft. The Cleveland Browns will be selecting quarterback out of Ole Miss, Jackson Dart. This is a pick that a lot of people are not agreeing with me on. And this weekend, I went on Hard Rock Bet. I placed a bet for the first time in a couple months because like I'm really into the draft. If you keep up on this page, and I put $50 on Jackson Dart going pick 2 because I logged into my old Prize Picks account, and on week 1 of the NFL season, I told myself I'm done gambling, and I just put a couple free picks in, and it ended up making me $100. So put the $100 in my account, put it in Hard Rock, put 50 on Dart, going pick number 2, and 50 would win me $3,000. I think Jackson Dart going to the Browns is what's gonna happen. They need quarterback really, really bad. Watching the Jackson Dart film, he's good, man. He reminds me of Josh Allen. I'm sorry. There's no other way to say it. Jackson Dart reminds me of Josh Allen, and similar to when he even had both phases. He had all 3 phases of Josh Allen. The one where he's a raw quarterback with amazing arm strength, speed, and power, and you see it, that's Josh Allen. And then he has the year with Stephon Diggs. When Jackson Dart had Trey Harris, holy, Trey Harris on my big board, y'all will see how high I am on him, which is also why I understand Jackson Dart didn't have a special playmaker next to him in Trey Harris, and he still played well. And I understand people were talking about his late game mishaps and him being a first read quarterback. I disagree with that. I just wholeheartedly disagree. You lose your wide receiver 1. It Things change, y'all. Trey Harris is that good. And with the other pick in the second round, the Cleveland Browns, they will be selecting, put on the music, Emeka Egbuka. So you give Jackson Dart, Jerry Jeudy, Emeka Egbuka. I mean, there's 2 reads right there, right? So he'll trust me, y'all. Jackson Dart is nice, man. Emeka is an amazing slot receiver who I see him a lot like Jackson Smith and the Jigba, who also went to school with him. Just slot receivers that he's a professional route runner. Emeka is gonna be in the league for a long time. I don't know how good he is. I don't know what his upside is, but I know his floor. Emeka is a professional wide receiver, and him going at the top of the second round, honestly, a steal. So hopefully the Browns could do something like that where they have their Jaden Daniels pick and Jackson Dart and make a run, because this team, in my opinion, is a quarterback away. They got weapons. They could get better at weapons, of course, and that's why you have a draft. Their D line is, you got Miles Garrett though. You get him some help, and in round 3 of the NFL draft, the Cleveland Browns will be selecting Braden Swinson out of LSU, a guy who, man, he gets to the quarterback, man. He gets to the quarterback for sure, and having that next to Miles Garrett, that's cool. That's cool, man. Um, it'd be preferably like a defensive tackle for the Cleveland Browns or something, but you got to play to the board. You can't just do what you want. Braden Swinson is somebody who's getting a little bit of first round buzz, but you got to remember, this is my mock draft. I don't, it's not necessarily I'm not high on him. I'm just high on other players and I've watched them more. I don't want to sit here and talk to y'all about Braden Swinson when I watched a couple games, less than 5, and he looked good. He looked good. And round 3, the Cleveland Browns will be going with him. And the last pick that the Cleveland Browns will be making in the 3rd round, with pick 94, is RJ Harvey. This is a guy who he got drafted before Caleb Johnson in this. Y'all let me know how y'all feel about that. Caleb Johnson has some similarities to Nick Chubb, and I just wanted to change the back field for the Cleveland Browns. Like Caleb Johnson, another guy who's not that great of a pass catcher, very physical. RJ Harvey is almost as physical and a great receiving back also. So having 3 reads for Jackson Dart now. A lot of people saying that Jackson Dart could only make 1 read. Okay. Okay. I think that's NFL executives, y'all. Y'all gotta remember, I'm a random person on the internet who's not controlled. Some people, like, they have reasons. They work certain places. They own franchises, and they don't want to let y'all know who they think the best player. That's stupid. They're in competition. Me, I'm just a yapper on the internet trying to tell y'all I think Jackson Dart the second best quarterback in the draft class. But yeah, I in totality drafted Jackson Dart, Emeka Egbuka, Braden Swinson, and RJ Harvey for the Browns. So, Browns fans, let me know how y'all feel about that. And on to pick 3 of the NFL draft, the New York Giants will be surprising us and selecting Dylan Gabriel. Oh my God. Are you stupid? Did you just take a quarterback for the Giants? Well, guess what? The Giants are my favorite team. All right. And a lot of people are, I think I don't know what the Giants doing, man. I don't think the Giants know what they doing. Maybe Membu is the pick in real life. Membu wouldn't be terrible. Need a right tackle. Neil, I seen they thinking about declining his deal today. So getting Membu immediately to replace him, you got one of the better tackle duels in the league. And then you could pray for Archie Manning next year. And Giants Nation, let's ride. But I like Dylan Gabriel, y'all. But before the playoffs, Dylan Gabriel was my number 1 quarterback in the class. Did he do anything to lose that spot? No. The game that Oregon lost, it made me look at a player like Derek Hammond differently when they were getting ran all over. Kind of show me his weaknesses. Dylan Gabriel in that Oregon game, I was watching him. He was cool. Dylan Gabriel was hooping. Dylan Gabriel always hooping. Dylan Gabriel's problem is not on the field, or it is on the field, but it's not nothing he could control. It's his size. He's small. He like 5'10". These other quarterbacks are like 6'3", 6'4", could see over the offensive lines, and y'all gonna hear me bring that up again later. A quarterback who's short, being able to see his offensive lineman, it's kind of hard to read the passing lanes also, just because they're taller than you. Like let's say like you with your dad and your dad's just taller than you, right? And imagine 5 of your dads in front of you, and you have to throw the ball to your mom, and just you can't even, you could barely even see her, and you got to do that 30 times every Sunday. It's not easy. And I do get the questions around Dylan Gabriel, but he is pinpoint accurate. He has a great arm. He has great awareness. He reminds me of Kyler Murray, Aaron Rodgers, and Tua. He reminds me of Aaron Rodgers because of his release. He reminds me of Tua because of his accuracy, and he reminds me of Kyler Murray with his intentions with his feet. Kyler Murray is one of the better runners in the league. I think Kyler Murray is the best scrambler in the league, y'all. Lamar Jackson is the most gifted, but Kyler Murray, his intent is always to pass. He only scrambles when no one's open. And Dylan Gabriel is the same. So having Dylan Gabriel be mentored by Russell Wilson, I think that's something that the Giants are interested in. Russell Wilson is a short quarterback who had a lot of questions about his size, and he's found a way to make it work out in the league due to his accuracy. That's Dylan Gabriel, y'all. It's like that's what it is. I almost feel like Russell Wilson is there to mentor Dylan Gabriel. And if Russell Wilson isn't there to mentor him, I think the Giants have a backup plan to like just get. I don't know what the Giants doing, y'all. Giants pick is hard, but as a Giants fan, I'm letting y'all know how I feel. I'm thinking Mambu, Hunter, or Gabriel. I I'm a fan, so I really want the quarterback, especially a quarterback who I'm very high on. But if we go with Mambu, Hunter, or the other guy I said, I won't question the pick. Mambu, Hunter, or Abdul would be also cool. But I'm a fan. Like I said, I want Dylan Gabriel. Um, a lot of people aren't high on Dylan Gabriel, so I had to explain that pick for a while. But on to the next pick. In pick 34, the New York Giants will be selecting wide receiver Jaden Higgins. This is a guy who he could play on the outside, create separation, and at the receiver position, that's the most important thing to me. Separation. You got Malik Neighbors working the exit. You got Malik Neighbors in the Z and the slot, creating separation. And on the outside, you can have Jaden Higgins just creating even more room and just flying around. And the Giants, besides Malik Neighbors last year, they didn't have a 1,000-yard receiver for a long time. And if they could have multiple receivers that are talented enough to do that, that would be a great thing for them. And that's what they need, man. The Giants' defense is so nice that, like, if they can fix this offense up a little bit, I wonder what the ceiling is for this team. Especially if they hit at quarterback, man. Especially if Dylan Gabriel look like he's the number 3 player for the Heisman Award. Oh man, the Giants would be a good team. With pick 80 something at this point. I don't even see where I'm at. Oh, at pick what? At pick 73, the New York Giants will be selecting tackle out of Texas, Cameron Williams. He's not bad at all. Cameron Williams to me at pick 65 is great value. He is a monster size wise, and he just got to clean up the penalties. He also led up a lot of hurries, but like it's Cameron Williams. You could either roll the dice on Cameron Williams or let Evan Neal play again, dude. Like Evan Neal could go, honestly. You move Jermaine to guard, which could probably upgrade the offensive line in itself. Put Cameron Williams at tackle. Dude, he's 335, 6'5". He's not even 22 years old yet. So he's gonna keep developing in that body, in that frame. And oh, he could legitimately, if he's developed the right way, become special. But he also could be a very big disappointment. Like Cameron Williams is just Cameron Williams. He gets a lot of penalties. He is Jawan Taylor. Cameron Williams is Jawan Taylor. And if the Giants had Jawan Taylor today, I think we'd be a better team because we have Evan Neal. So Jawan Taylor to the Giants. Last pick of the Giants selections, they had 4 in 3 rounds. So did the Browns. The Giants' last pick will be Cameron from Florida. He's a defensive end, defensive tackle, one of the better run stoppers in the league. Cameron Jackson could really like just help out Dexter Lawrence so much. You'd have an interior of Dexter Lawrence, Cameron Johnson, and Runches, I believe, is still on the team. And then your edge duo of Brian Burns and Kayvon Thibodeau. Kayvon Thibodeau is a good run defender. You get a run defender in the draft, and then you got Dexter Lawrence who could, do something against the run. Hey man, this Giants team, if they were to hit on quarterback, hit on receiver, hit on tackle, and the defensive tackle, they probably still be the third seed in the NFC East. So holy, maybe we do just take Mambu and cross our fingers for Archie Manning next year. Maybe that's what we do. But yeah, I had the Giants take Dylan Gabriel, Jaden Higgins, Cameron Williams, and Cameron Jackson. At pick 4 of the NFL draft, the New England Patriots will be selecting tackle out of Ohio State, Donovan Jackson. Y'all, I'm not somebody who has been keeping up with mock drafts. Today, I will finally listen to all the mock drafts in the world. I'm finally finishing my series of the mock drafts. And I haven't been going on to other mock drafts to let people skew my opinions. I feel like PFF with the draft board, I feel like they skew your opinions. I feel like I just don't want my opinions to change on these players because of other people's eyes. So I'm doing everything I could to stay away from other opinions, and you have to stay away from mock drafts because y'all listening to this video right now to listen to my opinions, and I'm telling you, I'm listening to nobody else's opinions. So my opinions are my opinions. And Donovan Jackson, when I was watching him, he's pancaking Abdul Carter in his first start. His first start at tackle. He's pancaking y'all favorite edge rusher. I had to check back and be like, I thought Donovan Jackson was Josh Simmons because Josh Simmons was hurt for the year, and Josh Simmons was ranked. He was ranked the best tackle in the class. So when I saw Josh Simmons, in my opinion, pancaking Mason Graham and Abdul Carter, I was like, Josh Simmons is him. And then I read the jersey, it keeps saying Smith or Jackson, whoever, Donovan Jackson. Now, I'm sorry I said Smith. It keeps saying Jackson. And I'm like, who is this? I go in, I do a little research on Ohio State. Josh Simmons out for the year. Donovan Jackson moved from left guard to left tackle. So you know what that showed me now? Donovan Jackson could be at guard and pancake Mason Graham consistently. And if my team needs to put him at left tackle, he could go out there and pancake Abdul Carter consistently. He is what them boys are scared of. So if that's what them boys are scared of, I want to take him at pick 4 for the New England Patriots and protect Drake May. Because Abdul Carter, he could possibly end up going to the Jets. And hey, I got me a guy in Donovan Jackson that I know can pancake Abdul Carter consistently and keep Drake May healthy. So I feel like Donovan Jackson right here is an amazing pick. I know it won't be popular, but watching O-line tape is not easy. So a lot of people will just, watch O-line tape and, just Donovan Jackson look good. But no, 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 no. He looks special. Pick 5 of the NFL draft. Or no, like I said, I'm doing this as teams. So with pick 30 something, the New England Patriots at pick 38, they will be selecting running back out of North Carolina or Marion Hampton. Y'all, this not happening. I'm one of those nerds. Let me put my glasses on. I'm R2D2, RB12. Our running backs can't go in the first round. Yeah, y'all. I'm at least being honest with y'all. I'm telling y'all the type person I am. All right, I'm one of those nerds that I don't think running back calculation in the first round it makes sense. Nah, look, Omarion Hampton to the Patriots would be so lit because he used to play with Drake May. So that you get Drake May somebody that makes him happy, and you get him protection in the first 2 rounds. Omarion Hampton, it's not somebody who I gotta explain this pick to Patriots fans too much. Patriots fans probably dream of this. Drake May going back with Omarion Hampton. I don't care about Steven. I don't care about Ramondre, man. We got Omarion Hampton, bro. Omarion Hampton, bro. Nah, he's so tough. Omarion, one of those guys that I look at as one of the next generation running backs, dude. Like, I seriously considered him or Ashton Genty. I considered it, and then I chilled out. Ashton Genty is that guy, but Omarion Hampton the closest thing to it. So it ain't crazy. It ain't crazy. With pick 69 of the NFL draft, the New England Patriots will be selecting wide receiver out of Colorado State, Torrey Horton. Wow. Torrey Horton falling to pick 69 is due to him having a season this year. He really is tough. Torrey Horton could create separation, and he plays somewhat like a Stephon Diggs. He even got a mouth like Stephon. So this offense is getting upgraded. Drake May, as you got to remember, as each one of these teams, I want to play general manager. What I'm doing right here, y'all, I'm trying to prove points. I'm trying to show y'all I know what I'm talking about from 5 years from now. So like me selecting Jackson Dart, Jackson Dart awesome. Me selecting Jackson Dart at pick 2 is bold, and it's me making a statement. He's that good. Um, Donovan Jackson at pick 4 is bold. I think he's that good. Then Gabriel at pick 3, I just really like him. At pick 3, y'all could ignore pick 3. I'm a Giants fan. All right, I'm just living my dream. Um, pick 4 though, like I said, Donovan Jackson. I'm standing on business. I'm already on Hampton. I probably let him fall, and at round 3, they going with Torrey Horton, like I said earlier. He reminds me of Stephon Diggs, create separation like him, got the mouth even got the build. And the Patriots are one of the lucky teams that have multiple third round picks, and they will be selecting possibly the best center in the class, Jared Wilson. It's between Jared and Seth tore his Achilles in November. So like this year, Jared is gonna be the best rookie center. And out of Georgia, man, he looked nice. He looks very nice. Could hold it down. And I seen that the Patriots been like just trying out stuff with Cole Strange. So on the interior, you have Jared Wilson, Michael Onwenu, and that he Michael Owen. Oh, and Cole Strange. So the Patriots interior now is Jared Wilson, Cole Strange, and Michael Onwenu. And then they have a tackle who I'm telling y'all I love on the left side now, and Donovan Jackson. So if Cole Strange doesn't work out and Donovan Jackson needs to be moved back at guard, maybe the Patriots have the best interior in the league and Omarion Hampton. If everything works out, the Patriots go from one of the worst O lines to the league to one of the more stable units off of 2 picks. Jared Wilson, like I said, the best center in the draft right now. And at pick 4, you took the best tackle. If you take the best tackle and the best center, and you have a very good guard in Michael Onwenu, 60% of your offensive line is guaranteed good. If you could get one more player like Cole Strange to just Cole Strange ain't even bad. So if you could just get a little more out of Cole Strange by giving him a little more help, that'd be cool to see how that go. That'd be cool to see how it go. Pick 5 of the NFL draft. Jacksonville Jaguars will be selecting tackle out of LSU, Will Campbell. Man, a lot of y'all don't realize this is the NFL. In the first couple picks, you either have a quarterback or you're protecting your quarterback. I don't know what's so hard to understand about that. We haven't took defensive player yet. I don't know if we're planning on taking a defensive player anytime soon. These defensive players are some of them are blue chip. I know, but I'd rather take a risk on the offense. I'm sorry. Um, at pick 5, like I said, Will Campbell is somebody who does have some question marks. But you know who also has question marks? Trevor Lawrence. Do I want to pay him a super max, dude? Like, all right, but if I'm gonna keep paying you a super max, why go Mason Graham when I could just get Will Campbell and protect you? Mason Graham is gonna do nothing to help out Trevor Lawrence. I don't care about anything but Trevor Lawrence if I'm the Jacksonville Jaguars with my first pick of the round. Bro, y'all done drafted like no, bro. Nah, you took Trayvon Walker instead of offense. Nah, no. Right here, you just go O line, protect Trevor Lawrence, and keep this pushing, bro. Like the Jacksonville Jaguars are not in any way, shape, or form in position to not take an offensive lineman right here, in my opinion. Like, like this team is bad, bro, with the offensive line. And they weapons usually be pretty consistent. I feel like Etienne, although he's not the most dynamic running back. I mean, it don't make it any easier when like you just satisfied with not upgrading your offensive line year in and year out, bro. Go get you Will Campbell. He looks so nice. He can play all five positions on the offensive line. Actually, there's a couple guys in this class that could do that, and Will Campbell, he's the best at it. He looks like a rock. Like when people try to go at him, like his hands placements is amazing. He just looks like a rock, dude. Rock solid. Um, I like Will Campbell, man. Like I said, people only thing about him is his wingspan. I didn't realize that at the offensive lineman, they're questioning like his ability to reach with such a small wingspan. But like he's been doing it for years, bro. Like, like we just at that time of the draft where like people are evaluating these players. So it's like the top 10 pick has a short wingspan. Ugh. Do we want to draft him? Man, Will Campbell been balling at the offensive line position for like the past decade now, bro. His hand length ain't never been no problem, bro. Don't come to the draft and make it a problem, dude. Like, no, we taking Will Campbell, Jacksonville Jaguar fans. Y'all need if you plug him anywhere on the offensive line and your O line gets better. Like, there's no reason not to like that. With the second round pick, the Jacksonville Jaguars will be selecting wide receiver Luther Burden. This is a nice pick. Um, hey, they just lost Christian Kirk, and if they could go out there and get a receiver that's kind of Luther Burden, who does he remind me of? He's very gimmicky, like all the gimmick stuff that the Chiefs do with McCole Hardman. If the Jaguars knew how to do it with Luther Burden, that would be cool. Maybe you could unlock Luther Burden as like this elusive Debo Samuel. Like Debo is power, but Luther's his own person, so he be finesse. Luther Burden reminds me of Kadarius Toney a lot, a lot. Maybe he has better hands, but like Luther Burden is explosive. He complains a lot when he doesn't have the ball. I don't like that. I must add. Um, and like my biggest question on Luther Burden was his production and his complaints. Like he complains a lot for somebody who didn't produce that much. But I was watching that Missouri quarterback. He wasn't all that either. I'm not gonna lie. That Missouri quarterback was not it. But it's still I get Burden's concerns and his frustration, but just like you're a professional athlete, yeah, that's just what it is to me. And unless you're like super duper star, I'm not trying to hear you talk. At Luther Burden, you have the potential to be that, but until you're that, I ain't trying to hear you do all that talking, all that complaining. Go out, prove yourself, and yeah, you've done it for sure. Because I just compared you to an elusive Debo Samuel in a similar role as Kadarius Toney, McCole Hardman. I do think Luther Burden on jet sweeps is cool. You can maybe do like you have so many cool things you could do with Luther Burden. Imagine you do like a fake jet sweep, have him run a drag after, and then just have Brian Thomas, doing what he do. Two reads right there for Trevor Lawrence with a better offensive lineman protecting for him. And in round 3 with pick 70, cut on the music, they will be selecting tight end out of Miami, Elijah Arrow. He's not the greatest run blocker, but he's very similar to like Evan Ingram. Yeah, he's similar to Evan Ingram, and I think the Jaguars let go of Evan Ingram because they seen the tight end class this year and was like, we could just go snag one of those guys. Elijah Arrow at worst, like, and he's nice. Elijah Arrow at round 3 is a great pick because he's a move tight end. He gonna move the ball for the Jaguars, and they gonna have a trio of Arrow, Burden, Brian. Y'all gotta go get Trevor some help, man. That's how I'm feeling, bro. Trevor Lawrence, you invested way too highly on him to keep taking defensive picks. So just get some offense, see what works with your max player, and keep it pushing. This Jaguars team is not in the position, in my opinion, to select Mason Graham. Jaguar fans, let me know if I'm crazy. Y'all are not in position to take Mason Graham at pick 5, bro. Y'all online suck. Y'all online suck. Okay? I'm telling y'all. If y'all take Mason Graham at 5, cool. That's stupid. But your online suck, man. So I would love if y'all take Mason Graham at pick 5 and the Giants face up against y'all and attack you with Dexter Lawrence, Brian Branch. I meant I said Brian Branch, Brian Burns, Kayvon Thibodeau. I would love that. I would love that. So you Jaguar fans, be safe out there in them streets if y'all don't select offensive linemen. Um, with pick six. With pick 88 in the NFL draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars will be selecting defensive tackle out of Texas A&M, Shamar Turner. Dude, Shamar Turner, in my opinion, hot take, hot take. He's the best player on the Texas A&M group, at least in college. Shamar Stewart and the other guy, like those guys are just 6'6", 280, strong, big build bodies and get no production. The fact that those guys are 6'6", strong, agile, big body NFL players in college and get no production scares me. And like Shamar Turner as a defensive tackle, what he does blowing up the run for this team, yo, he is special. And like as a run defender, like he is nasty, yo. He might be one of the best run defenders in the NFL when he comes and like gets his foot set in stone. Like I'm kind of high on Shamar Turner after watching his tape, yo. That man was getting in the backfield. 6 in the NFL draft, the Las Vegas Raiders. They will be selecting Armand Membu out of Missouri, tackle. This guy might have potential to legitimately be pick 3 in the draft. For the Giants, it's probably the pick that makes the most sense today. But I'm a Giants fan and I want a quarterback. You know, the Raiders with this pick, they solidify their offensive line. This is the Joe Alt to Rashawn Slater thing. Colton Miller's a very good offensive lineman, and if you could have Colton Miller and Membu, whatever running back or quarterback you have behind that has a higher chance of success because they got Membu, who's a rock. Luther Burden, when I was talking about him doing jet sweeps, the guy who he keep running behind to do the jet sweeps is Membu. Membu was similar to Trent Williams in the 49ers offense. They use the Membo like a weapon. Um, the 49ers, whenever they have a big run, they run to the left side and just Trent Williams, I'm behind you. That's what Luther Burden be doing with Membu. So it's like, yes, Christian McCaffrey is special, and he's running behind Trent Williams. Like Luther Burden, yes, he's nice, and he's running behind Membu. So like, holy bro, and Luther Burden, I'll tell you this, he'll understand the Raiders taking a tackle at pick 6. A lot of fans, when you're doing mock drafts, they don't understand the offensive lineman picks this high. But you got to remember, this is what happens, yo. Like I'm telling y'all, first couple picks, I have the Tennessee Titans who don't have a quarterback, the Cleveland Browns who quarterback situation is very foggy, and they're a quarterback away. That's why they traded for Deshaun Watson. They felt like their team was a quarterback away. Um, pick 3 of the Giants. I mean, Russell Wilson, Jameis Winston. I feel like Jameis Winston is smoke, and the Giants are going to cut him in training camp just because they want to act like they got their quarterback room set. You don't have a battle with Jameis Winston and Russell Wilson in February. Am I tripping? I think that's just them trying to tell teams, man, we don't want quarterback. Well, we got Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston. Please let Jackson Dart fall. Please let Jackson Dart fall. He looks just like Allen, and I am a Brian Daboll. You know, Brian Daboll wants Jackson Dart, in my opinion. He looks so much like Josh Allen, and I seen reports that he loves him. But like, I think that's just what it is, man. Maybe, but like again, I said, delusional Giants fan. If that's what it is, that's what it is. Um, yeah, but pick 6, the Raiders going with Membu would be an amazing thing for them. Upgrade that offensive line, and you have one of the best units in the league right there now. With pick 37, the Las Vegas Raiders, they will be selecting Trey Amos out of Ole Miss. Trey Amos is a nice corner. He really could go in the first round. He really is nice. Trey Amos is so tough. I can't even think who he reminds me of. He reminds me of a good cornerback. Like when you watch a cornerback and they stand out, that's when you know they good. Like He stands out, man. He stands out, and selecting him in round two is a steal. And with pick 68 of the NFL draft, the Las Vegas Raiders, they will be selecting Cam Scatterboo out of Arizona State. Dude, this is a running back that falling in the third round is a steal, And you're gonna have him running behind one of the best offensive line units in the league with Raheem Mostert. So you're gonna have that power and that speed with that offensive lineman who y'all took in the first round. Or you could go with Genty, force an offensive lineman who's going to have bad blocking for Genty, or you can just build a better team. Membu is amazing, dude. Membu is amazing. You go get you not Will Trey Amos. You go get you Cam Scatterboo. Raiders are set, bro. They got Geno Smith. This is a roster that you do see a ceiling, but if Cam Scatterboo in this run game could just take over with Raheem Mostert, maybe that's what their identity is. With Trey Amos being a great corner for that edge duo that they got, Christian Wilkins fully healthy year. This is a Raiders team that could compete. I'm not saying that they gonna win the Super Bowl, but the Raiders seem like a team that wants to compete because they got Geno Smith. So taking quarterback didn't make sense here. Offensive line, though, like I'm telling y'all, the Raiders are one piece away from possibly having one of the best units in the league, and you have maybe the best player available on the board, offensively at least, as a right tackle, the one position you don't have on the offensive line. I think this is just something that the Raiders really, really, really should do. And in the other rounds, they'll figure out the skill positions. All I know is with this offensive line unit that they have, only thing they got to worry about is paying this unit and drafting players and keeping that unit alive. Because holy, that Raiders offensive line, if they was to get Membu, would be nasty. Pick 7 of the NFL draft, the New York Jets will be selecting cornerback out of Colorado, Travis Hunter. This being at 7, y'all, this is scary because Travis Hunter's the first defensive player taken on the board at pick 7. We've seen this happen a lot recently in the NFL. Like I said, the first couple picks are quarterbacks and tight end. Quarterbacks, tight end, pick 7. As the Jets franchise GM, because like I said, y'all, I'm the GM for every single one of these teams. I don't know how I feel about Sauce Gardner, y'all. I'm definitely not paying Sauce Gardner a max today as a GM. And honestly, my biggest goal for this Jets team is to replenish the secondary. I don't know how I feel about it, man. Sauce Gardner, I got questions on him with his grabbiness and his tendency to hold and cause penalties and always put his team in positions to where he's always a liability, because at any point of the game, the referees are allowed to call a flag on him whenever they feel like it. So they're recently what the NFL has been doing is right. They're not calling everything on Sauce Gardner, but in the big moments, the big plays, yes, call that stuff, man. And I think that's how he should always be refereed for the rest of his career, because he holds literally every play, literally. But you can't call it every play because he holds every play. But if you're gonna hold on 4th and 1 while the other team needs a big conversion, no, flag, you cheater. But Travis Hunter on the other end, he is polished. His agility and elusiveness is insane at corner. And he could also play a little bit of receiver. So having him being able to do both facets of the game is something that is amazing for the Jets. And with their second round pick, I'm gonna go with Malachi Starks. Malachi is somebody who I'm not that high on, but you see what brings the attention to him. And at pick 42, on a team that really, 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 really needs secondary help, Malachi Starks will get a position to start day one and maybe change this Jets secondary around. Him, Travis Hunter, Sauce Gardner. That's a trio that could at least get things started. At least get things started, because this Jets defense was so disappointing last year. And then like the fact that they got Malachi Starks in the secondary will allow Travis Hunter on like obvious rundowns be able to sit. Maybe that's what Travis Hunter becomes, y'all. I was thinking if Travis Hunter makes it to the NFL, Maybe on defense he doesn't play first down. First down he doesn't play, but second down you put him in, and after that he plays. Maybe that's what I'm thinking. He if he wants to play wide receiver and corner, he can't play on first down, but he could play on all the other downs. Um, Malachi Starks to the Jets, like I said, bring another piece in that back end. He was very highly coveted last year, and he wasn't terrible this year, but neither was he great. But the fact he had an awesome year last year kind of is what gets him to pick 42, at least because his tape this year was lackluster. With pick 73 in the NFL draft, the New York Jets will be selecting Jalen Noel out of Iowa State. Jalen Noel is a good slot receiver, explosive slot receiver who's going to be able to be a dynamic threat next to Garrett Wilson. Like Jalen Noel reminds me of just a very speedy slot who's able to get open. The fact that he didn't go higher in the draft is only because that he is a slot receiver. Like I don't know how well he will be able to develop the outside game and just his size and stuff like that. But no matter what, he's going to be next to Garrett Wilson and Jalen Noel, and that wide receiver tandem is going to be something to not play around with in the league. Pick 8 of the NFL draft, the Carolina Panthers will be selecting Abdul Carter out of Penn State. And this is the exact reason I think Abdul Carter is lying to y'all and saying he has foot issues. He and his agent have went over so many mock drafts, and they know what it is. First couple picks is always quarterback, like I said, bro. He know he ain't going 1. He know he ain't. I don't think he going 2, y'all. Not at all, bro. Not at all. But he has the talent. It's just he plays on the defensive side of the ball. I want a quarterback or a tackle. You know what a tackle does? A tackle makes someone like Abdul Carter not be able to ruin my game. And you know who Abdul Carter would be ruining the game for? He'd be ruining the game for Cam Ward, my quarterback. So it's a positional value chart. You got to know what positions got the most value in the league. Edge is one of them because they get at the quarterback the most. Quarterback is one of them. Quarterback is the position because it's quarterback. Tackle is the position because that's what protects the quarterback the most. And after that, bro, it's free game. After that, it's really best player available to me. Though those are the only 3 positions that I look at as God almost, Like I look at those positions like above all. Quarterback, edge, and tackle. Like those are the most important positions to me. And I'm the GM of these teams, so that's the places I would like to get solidified. And another thing I would like to get solidified is just a mob of weapons for Bryce Young. I want no excuses for Bryce Young. Last year at the end of the season with that team and Adam Thielen, he started clicking. So I seen that Bryce Young could work with a slot receiver. So that's nice. And hey, he could get him a nice little slot receiver that's productive and an outside receiver like Alec Aomar in the second round. That's cool. That's cool. With pick 74 in the NFL draft, the Carolina Panthers will be selecting Texas tight end Gunnar Helm. Gunnar Helm is a move tight end. He isn't the best run blocker, but he'll be able to be another passing threat for Bryce Young. He'll have Xavier Legette, Gunnar Helm, Alec Aomar, and Chuba Hubbard with a decent offensive line and just keep this team going because I know they got Tommy Tremble and that other guy at tight end, but those are more of blocking tight ends. Gunnar Helm is going to be able to get conversions and keep the ball pushing. And Bryce Young, he is on the shorter side, so I wonder how he would do with a tight end because, those guys usually get open through the middle of the field, but Gunnar Helm is going to be somebody who that's how we're going to figure it out. We're going to figure out Bryce and what his limitations are, what he fits well with, what he's good with. And Gunnar Helm, to be honest, most quarterbacks are going to be able to use him. The way that he was in Texas, dude, Gunnar Helm with the ball in his hands is nice. I like Gunnar Helm, man. So Gunnar Helm to the Carolina Panthers. Panthers fans, if this was to happen, trust me, or whoever gets Gunnar Helm in the draft tomorrow. He's somebody to like. This is really me just sharing my opinions on the players. Who knows? Who cares if I get landing spots right or not? Just it's my opinions on these players, and Gunnar Helm is cool. Pick 9 of the NFL draft. The New Orleans Saints will be selecting quarterback out of Colorado, Shedeur Sanders. This is a guy who is very accurate, very poised in the pocket, and I wonder how Shedeur would look behind the offensive line as good as the Saints. He has the potential to be very, very, very good. He reminds me of Kirk Cousins, and if he could be better than that, that's a guy that's thrown for 500 yards. I think Shedeur Sanders reminds me of that, and that's a good thing. Um, he also reminds me a little bit of Derek Carr. So him going to that team to play with Derek Carr would be cool. He reminds me of Geno Smith. I could see the Raiders going and drafting Shedeur still and having Geno Smith mentor him. But the fact that Geno Smith signed an extension is kind of what pivoted me from drafting Shedeur there anymore. But with pick 9, especially with this new Derek Carr injury going on, where he might miss the beginning or even the entire season because of his throwing shoulder, you get Shedeur. Get Shedeur, put him behind a good offensive line, and see where this goes. With pick 40 of the NFL draft, the New Orleans Saints will be acquiring Will Johnson. This is somebody who I kind of wanted to bring down more on my board, but I gotta respect the play from the past couple years. The size, the length, dude. He has some good plays, especially in press man coverage, where the Saints run probably the most press man coverage in the league. So having Will Johnson, who's struggling a bit to stay healthy, but has everything else to the Saints that runs the exact scheme that fits him, no matter what, I know when he's healthy, he'll be in the right place. So while he can't stay healthy, the time that he is healthy, he'll be in the right place and producing for sure. And in the third round, since we drafted an injury prone corner who honestly like is in the right place and I don't want to trust him too much, I'm gonna just draft the same thing for the Saints at pick 71 and Siobhan Reevil. Siobhan Reevil is the same thing as Will Johnson, but smaller school. He can't stay healthy. He's amazing in press man. He has the length, the size, the speed. That's something Will Johnson doesn't have, but he's played at a better school, so you've seen him against the competition. Siobhan Reevil, on the other hand, he played at East Carolina, but he looked amazing in press man. He looked amazing in press man. A lot of people think he's a first round talent just off how he looks, and I got him going in the third round. A lot of people think everyone's a first round talent though, but for me personally, Siobhan can't stay healthy, but when he is healthy, he makes some highlight plays. So the Saints have Kool-Aid, Siobhan, and Will Johnson in a press man unit. Like that is scary for other teams that you have 3 corners that good just playing press man on you. But will all of them stay healthy? Kool-Aid McKinstry was somebody I was high on last year too. So like that's a trio that I think will have an amazing time together, man. Especially we in a passing league. Go get you 3 good corners like that, and teams are going to struggle. When you could put Will Johnson consistently on other teams like wide receiver 2s, that's unfair. That's unfair because like in the college level at least, he was out there guarding the ones. So now that you're gonna ask him to do less and stay healthy, and as an NFL team, that's what you're supposed to do. This is the big league. You're supposed to ask them to do less and stay healthy. And that would be an amazing thing for the Saints if they could get both of those corners. And in the third round, because they have multiple picks, they will be with pick 93 of the NFL draft. The New Orleans Saints will be selecting running back Caleb Johnson. This is a steal of a running back, man. Caleb Johnson, he is one of the better running backs in this class, but he failed due to like fit reasons and like just schematical reasons. With a schematic stuff out of the picture, Caleb Johnson is like a strong power back who got some speed on him, man. And he's gonna be nothing to play with. You'll have Alvin Kamara and Caleb Johnson kind of have the Mark Ingram, Alvin Kamara thing back. I wouldn't call Caleb Johnson Mark Ingram. I do think he's just a different player. I'm not saying he can't be as good as him. I do think he could, but I'm just saying I don't think they similar type of players. They're similar. They're similar. So like it fits with Alvin Kamara, and this New Orleans Saints offense is a team that in this draft, dude, dude, they got a quarterback, a running back, and two corners that fit their system. If the quarterback hits, this Saints team could win the division if Shadur Sanders is able to play good with that offensive line and those weapons that he got. Dude, that defense is going to be able to hold it down, especially in that division. So I can't wait to see what the Saints do in the draft and me entirely changing their franchise. And yo, Shadur, Will Johnson, Siobhan Revel, and Caleb Johnson. If the Saints are able to do that, yo, this is similar to the Marshawn Lattimore draft with Trey Hendrickson and stuff. Like, this is an insane draft for the Saints if they're able to pull this off, but I doubt it. At pick 10 of the NFL draft, the Chicago Bears, I didn't realize what I did for this team, and what I did was so amazing. With the first three picks, it was on purpose, but the fourth one, I didn't even realize. We're taking Ohio State at the left tackle position. This is going to be Ben Johnson's Penei Sewell and Josh Simmons. Josh Simmons looked amazing. I mentioned him earlier. He was graded as the best tackle in the class. He just got hurt. And when he was at the combine and stuff, he put on a show. He made sure people remember him, even though he was hurt. He made sure people at least go and look at his last year tape. Like, I am here. And he proved that point, and I will be selecting him with pick 10 of the NFL draft so the Bears could fix that offensive line that they've been doing. Ben Johnson came there and immediately seen the vision. Having Josh Simmons at left tackle would be amazing for them. And at pick 42 and 44, I believe, the Bears have a chance to do something special right here and taking Travion Henderson and Quinton Judkins at pick 39 and 41. Put on the music, man. We just taking them together. They're going to be a duo forever. You know, he literally has Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, Penei Sewell with a quarterback that I think is better than Jared Goff. So you have that. You have the interior that you fixed up with players like Joe Thuney, Drew Dahlman. This is a Bears team, y'all, that is here to make a push. When they had Matt Eberflus at defensive coordinator and head coach, one thing that I've always known about Eberflus and his schemes, he's always had a run stuff and defensive tackle. That's what his scheme is. His scheme is stopping the run. And the Bears never drafted him that defensive tackle that would allow their defensive coordinator to play his scheme. Now that Ben Johnson is here, what I'm going to do as a GM is give him what the other guy needed. And in round 3, we're going to go with Tyleik Williams. Tyleik Williams is another Ohio State product who, wow, I didn't even realize like he went to Ohio State also, though. This is so tough. The Bears just get 4 Ohio State players, keep the group together, and then you just have Tyleik Williams next to Montez Sweat and them boys stopping the run a little bit more than they usually would. I'm not saying Tyleik Williams, he went in the 3rd round, y'all. He's not this, run stuffing demon, but he's going to make it better, especially he's going to be next to Grady Jarrett. You have Grady Jarrett. You have him. That's a better run defense. And you already upgraded the offensive plenty with that running back duo you just got and that tackle you got. So this is a team. Yo, you drafted Darnell Wright in the 1st round. You signed Jonah Jackson. You got Drew Dahlman. You got Joe Thuney. Braxton Jones, in my opinion, was the biggest problem on the offensive line, and they got picked 10. This is what's going to happen. It's just what's going to happen. I don't know which offensive lineman it's going to be, but the Bears taking offensive line. Ben Johnson don't play about that, and they got so many weapons. So, yeah, running back duo, offensive lineman, defensive tackle, all from Georgia. I mean, all from Ohio. So, welcome to Chicago, Chicago Bears fans. Hey, let me know how y'all feel about that. Y'all are the Ohio State Bears. That is the team that just won the college championship. So, like, being them isn't the worst thing, you know. Like they dominated this year, so go out and be the Ohio State Bears. Um, Pick 11 of the NFL draft. San Francisco 49ers will be selecting Gray Sable. He reminds me of a lot of players, but we're going to use him in the Tyler Smith role. Trent Williams in this example is Tyron Smith, and Gray Sable is Tyler Smith. You have the left tackle, you have two left tackles, and you plug one of them at guard. And Gray Zabel is a left tackle that could play all five positions. Earlier, when I mentioned Will Campbell isn't the only guy that could play all five positions, I said that because Gray Zabel, this guy is a left tackle, left guard, center, right tackle. He is a Swiss Army knife on the offensive line, and the 49ers kind of need that. The right tackle, I'm pretty sure for the 49ers is solid. The left tackle is too, but Trent Williams is like 39 years old and he gets hurt a good amount. So in the games that Trent Williams is healthy now, you have him a guy like Gray Zabel who can help him out and not entirely have to carry the left side of the offensive line. That's a good thing, man. And then when Trent Williams is out, the 49ers go from one of the best or go from like the best running teams to like it's not the same, you know? So having a Gray Zabel who could plug in that left tackle for the games that Trent Williams is out that's a weapon that the 49ers could use. And if you give the 49ers too many weapons, you're in trouble. You're in trouble. Um Round 2 for the 49ers, cut on the music. They'll be selecting Darius Alexander out of Toledo. This guy is one of those guys that when I was watching the tape, he did what a lot of players said that you should do. And he's playing basketball on the football field. Like you can see how he's setting up his defenders. I see him using the crossover move. Like Darius Alexander is a student of the game. He's learning moves. He's plugging them in while he's playing. He's doing crossover between the legs, getting to the QB. Man, that's inspirational, man. Darius Alexander also get his hands on the ball. He's so explosive. I like Darius Alexander a lot. And on the 49ers, he's the exact player that would complement Nick Bosa because of his lackluster run defense. You just have Darius Alexander in the middle exploding stuff. And then you're like Nick Bosa probably could see less double teams because of that. It's Nick Bosa, so like teams are gonna guard him the way that they do. But the 49ers, ever since they lost Eric Armstead and DeForest Buckner, they don't hit the same to me. That 49ers team every 49ers team that be making playoff pushes, it be because of their D-line units and them just letting go of Eric Armstead for not too much and DeForest Buckner. When the 49ers let DeForest Buckner, that's really when everything changed. Like they need some help on the defensive line, in my opinion. Just the 49ers need help on the trenches, just in totality, in my opinion. Because I did kind of lie earlier when I said that their right tackle position is all right. Because in the draft, I got them going with Jonah Sevillina out of Arizona with pick 75. He is somebody who is in a wide run block scheme and he does well. Like you have Gray Zabel who could do that and Jonah on the tackle ends. So 49ers, they get in a little tackle duo and one of the tackles you could plug in that guard whenever Trent Williams is healthy. So this is another team that in this draft, holy, they upgraded their offensive line unit a lot and their defensive line. These teams that have a chance at winning the Super Bowl, like I keep telling y'all, trenches is where it's at because if you have a quarterback already, you just want trench play. Trenches. You want to be as treacherous as it gets, bro. Because these other teams, these other quarterbacks, when they have to go against Darius Alexander and Nick Bosa all game, now you know you're the problem. Pick 12. With pick 100 of the NFL draft, the San Francisco 49ers will be selecting corner out of Ohio State, Denzel Burke. He kind of reminds me of Tre'Davious Ward. Physical corner, good tackler, good corner. Just good corner, good leader. That's what I think of Denzel Bork when I see him. Good corner, good leader. So you become a great teammate because you're good at your position and you're a good leader. And good tackler. Like Denzel isn't special at anything. He's picked 100 in the draft for a reason, but he is a depth piece, and he could become more than that. Like I said, Tre'Davious Ward is kind of how I view him, but I doubt he becomes as good as a Tre'Davious Ward, but that's his play style. And if he does become as good as Tre'Davious Ward, ooh, that would be tough. I like Denzel Burke, man. Good corner, and like I said, great leader of the NFL draft. The Dallas Cowboys, they will be selecting left tackle out of Texas, Kelvin Banks Jr. He, to me, his tape is good. His size is amazing. And he's just a plug and play fit at tackle, man. Kevin Banks, I wonder what his upside is, but I'm pretty sure he's going to be a good tackle in the league. He looked like a good tackle on Texas. He ain't really giving me too much problems watching him. Every time I watched him, he looked like he actually is really good. Dylan Banks is, or Kelvin Banks, I might say, he's really good, and him going to the Cowboys would be an amazing thing, and he gets to stay in Texas, so that'd be cool for him too. In the second round, this is something that may not happen, may be kind of shocking, but at pick 44, I got Donovan Izarike out of Boston College. Yeah, he fell. He fell. I might be wrong on that. Just to tell y'all, I might be wrong on that, but I'll tell y'all one thing. He reminds me of DeMarcus Lawrence a lot. Maybe that's just why I wanted him on the Cowboys so bad. He reminds me of DeMarcus Lawrence a lot, and the Cowboys did just lose him. So, hey, right there, you get him back. Donovan could defend the run well, pass rush well. He's also on the older side, so maybe that's why he was doing everything so well, because he's just bigger, stronger than everyone. But hey, one thing I know is, from what I saw, he's capable of it. He's capable of it. And then in the third round with pick 100 something at this point, man. Like, we are deep into this, y'all. If you are still listening, drop a like, comment, subscribe. We about an hour in and you still here. Come on, man. I love you. I love you. And we are only 13 picks in and I'm an hour in. It's crazy, y'all. This is what it's been taking me so long to drop this video. It's been a lot of work because, man, I got an appointment I got to go to soon. So, like, I'm going to have to pause this. But I'll be back. And Dylan Sampson at pick 76 to the Dallas Cowboys is something that, holy, it changes a lot because they let Rico Dotto go, I believe. And Dylan Sampson is probably the fastest running back I've seen in a while, bro. He's like Raheem Mostert, bro. His burst, younger Raheem Mostert, too, may I add. 49ers, Raheem Mostert. I don't know. Nah, he is fast, bro. Dylan Sampson is so fast and explosive with the ball. I seen that people, he had notes on his fumbling, but like I didn't see it. I look, all I saw was him zooming. All right. If Caleb Johnson is better and like I just took the speed merchant, look, maybe that's possible. But Dylan Sampson is so fast and so good. I just want him on his team, man, because he's gonna be behind Tyler Smith, Kelvin Banks, and like I said, my Cowboys as me at GM, we need to upgrade this O line a little bit. No cap, maybe. It got me thinking. You should have took an interior offensive lineman instead of Dylan Sampson, because like how I keep telling y'all, I think about running backs. Like I am one of those nerds that is scared to take running backs unless everything else is amazing. I am one of those weirdos. But Tyler Guyton can move back at right tackle, or you just put Terrence Steele at right tackle and Steele, or you just bench Terrence Steele. I don't know what the Cowboys do, but I do know that adding Kelvin Banks to the offensive line makes them a better unit. Donovan Izukiriki plays like DeMarcus Lawrence. They just lost him, so that's a great plug and play fit. And then you get Dylan Sampson. Cowboys fans, let me know how y'all feel about that. We got pick 13 of the NFL draft. The Miami Dolphins, they will be selecting defensive interior out of Michigan, Mason Graham. Mason Graham had him a good career in Michigan. He alongside Kenneth Grant was leading one of the better run defenses in the country. He missed quite a few games though, because when I was watching Michigan, it was so hard to find all the defensive players on Michigan playing together. Just someone's always out. And Mason Graham, I'm gonna see how many games he missed this year actually, because I'm mentioning it now. It probably wasn't as much as I'm saying. Yeah, he played 12 games, so like he was there for most of the season. I was just catching unlucky clips, but Mason Graham, his pass rushing, like it's all right. His run stopping is amazing. And if the Dolphins could just go out and replace Christian Wilkins with that, holy people are saying he has a chance to like change the game at the defensive tackle position. I kind of disagree, but one thing I know for sure is that boy is good. That especially against the run. Against the run, he's probably him and Kenneth Grant probably the best players against the run in this whole draft. And them boys being on the same team last year, it's crazy. But Mason Graham is one of those defensive tackles that tries to pass rush. His motive and his first thing is always going to be the run, but he's also capable of getting to the quarterback. So having somebody who is one of the best run defenders in the league and also a capable pass rusher in his head on third downs, he maybe he could just go block in and be Khalil Mack real quick on the third down where it's an obvious pass set. So Mason Graham to the Dolphins is somebody who helps that team out a lot, man. That team is in the mud right now. Even though they have some potential on it, it's not as much potential as you want, man. The Dolphins, dude. And then they just had like at pick by the time of pick 13, right? We had 2 tackle runs. At pick 4 to 6, we had tackles go, and at picks 10 to 12, we had tackles go. Y'all, we've already had 6 tackles go in the first 12 picks. That's the NFL. All of those guys, grades, first round grades too. And these are teams that need tackle at the top of the draft. The Dolphins just got unlucky. Like if there's another offensive lineman who's a first round talent, in my opinion, maybe I would have took him to the Dolphins, but that's enough for the first round talent of offensive linemen for me. I have 6 offensive linemen graded as first round talents, and the Dolphins got unlucky. Or they could reach for a Josh Cornelli at pick 13, though. You reaching for Josh Cornelli at pick 13? I know one thing. Every single time Mason Graham lines up against Josh Cornelli, he'll win. He'll win. So it's just at the point you just take Mason Graham, dude. Like, I really want to tackle Terron Armstead, even retired, dude. Like, we already need a tackle with Terron Armstead. And one of the best tackles in the league retired? Nah, bro, the Dolphins are in the mud at the tackle position. Keep Tua. If there's any team that reaches for Josh Cornelli at pick 13, it's the Dolphins. They need to keep Tua healthy, bro. So, like, I would understand them reaching, especially if 6 offensive linemen went already. But me personally, I've only took in 2 defensive players at this point, and the Dolphins could get somebody who's quite possibly a blue chip talent. You just can't pass up on that, especially for Josh Cornelli. Okay, I'm not passing up on Mason Graham for Josh Cornelli. Maybe we'll see how my words age one day, but I'm not passing up on Mason Graham for Josh Cornelli. Round 2 of the NFL draft at pick 48. The Miami Dolphins will be selecting defensive interior out of Oregon, Derek Harmon. Derek Harmon is somebody who could get to the pass a lot, get to the pass rush a lot. He is one of those guys at the defensive interior position could get to the quarterback, man. But I do got some questions on his run stopping, how skinny he is. I would love him next to a nose tackle, but he can pile on some double teams and make that Dolphins defense a better unit. Him and Mason Graham just completely changed that unit day one. And the Dolphins become a team that have one of the better interiors in the league just like that. I didn't even realize I took 2 defensive interiors for them. I just know the way that the board was falling, Derek Harmon was just what I wanted for the Dolphins, dude. He's a really good interior player that could get to the pass rush, and Mason Graham alongside him. Hey, that whole unit is solid now. And the Dolphins, they're going to have to figure other stuff out, especially the offensive line part of the game. But you're just going to have to pay people, man. I don't know who you pay. I don't know how you pay them because offensive linemen, they always get paid. All right. So you're going to have to find a way. But holy, maybe you got to even trade for offensive line at this point. Maybe the Dolphins are a team that like they just trade these picks to trade up for offensive line. I wouldn't hate that at all. I would not hate that at all because the Dolphins just taking defensive tackles in this draft class is pretty disappointing because those are the only two picks that the Dolphins have. They took two defensive tackles in the first in the first 3 rounds. They don't have a pick in round 3. So we'll see if that's something that the Dolphins are interested in. Maybe instead of round 2, they could, maybe they could, reach on a Tate. Not even really reach because Tate in my draft, he's going at pick 52. So maybe that's something that the Dolphins could just do instead. Go with Tate instead of Derek Harmon. But hey, Derek Harmon is a better. I don't want to just say that. Maybe that's something that the Dolphins could be the judges on draft night. Derek Harmon or Tate. I wouldn't hate if they went Tate at all. That'd probably be the right thing to do since they already went Mason Graham in the first. It'd probably be the right thing to do. But yeah, this mock draft, I have the Dolphins going with Mason Graham and Derek Harmon in the first 2 rounds. With pick 98 in the NFL draft, the Miami Dolphins will be selecting left tackle out of Minnesota, Ariante Ursi. Ursi is not. I was higher on him in the beginning of the draft process, and then I watched him in the one-on-ones. The Giants. I said the Giants. The Dolphins just need a tackle, man. That's just where I'm at, man. Dolphins need a tackle. And earlier in the draft process, when I was just watching games, I did have him as a first-round talent. He fell a lot, like after I dove more into him, and especially the one-on-ones on senior day and stuff like that. That's where he got his fall for me, if I'm gonna be completely honest. But Ursary is still like a solid left tackle, and getting him in the 3rd round, he could prove me wrong because I was once really high on him. I once would take him in the 1st round, and then kind of like the Cameron Williams thing, you see more of him, you like him less. That is what it became. But he's still a good NFL player or good college player, and we can see what he becomes in the NFL. With pick 14 of the NFL draft, the Indianapolis Colts will be selecting tight end out of Penn State, Tyler Warren. Tyler Warren's the best tight end in the class. He reminds me of Gronk, man. He is a move tight end that takes snaps at QB and is a good blocker, bro. He reminds me of George Kittle and Rob Gronkowski. This guy's an animal, y'all. He runs over people, he blocks, he passes catches. You can snap the ball to him and he'll run. You can put him anywhere, bro. This is a move tight end that's a Swiss Army knife. I've probably never seen a prospect like Tyler Warren at the tight end position through my years of, trying to be a draft expert. Kind of what I'm doing, the way that I'm doing the 3-round mock draft, bro. I may as well try and be a draft expert, right? Ain't that what I'm damn near doing? But my whole time of keeping up with the draft, as much as I do, Kyle Pitts was very fast and athletic, but Tyler Warren is different. Kyle Pitts was not a blocker. Tyler Warren is. Kyle Pitts would not take snaps at QB and just run over people. Tyler Warren does. So, those aspects of his game, especially as a tight end, because as a tight end, blocking does matter. Warren got it all, man. So, him going to the Colts would give Anthony Richardson a big weapon. He's an inaccurate quarterback. So, the fact that he's not one of those skinny slot receivers like a Tez Johnson, he actually has a big frame that you could work with. So, if Anthony Richardson isn't able to work with Tyler Warren and all those wide receiver tools he got, because there ain't no wide receiver 1 on that team, but there's a bunch of wide receiver tools in Tyler Warren with Jonathan Taylor, so that is a team that should be capable of doing things. And if not, I'd be starting to get worried because, that's not a good thing if Tyler Warren could come to the team and you're not producing, in my opinion, because Tyler Warren is nice. With pick 45 of the NFL draft, we don't have enough wide receiver tools, so we're just going to go and get Matthew Golden, another wide receiver tool for the Colts. Pretty similar to Alec Pierce, honestly. I don't know how I feel about this pick. I don't love it for the Colts because wide receiver wasn't that much of a need, but you got to look at it like this. Matthew Golden is someone who could go in the 1st round, and if he's just available at pick 45 And the Colts aren't necessarily a team that should lock in with any of their wide receivers. You know, Adonai Mitchell is somebody who even plays similar. So like maybe this ain't the pick for sure, but this is how the board fell. So I'm gonna you gotta remember I'm the GM of every single one of these teams. So at some point, I realized the Colts ain't that talented of a roster, and if he's just gonna sit there, I gotta take him. And with pick 80 of the draft, the Indianapolis Colts select Antoine Powell Ryland. Sleeper pick right here. Antoine is one of the better run defending edges, and he's also a pass rusher. His size is what's freaking people out because he's a small edge rusher. But on one of the best run defenses in the league, he was the second best run defender. You know, he's second best run defender, second best pass rusher on probably the best defensive. One of the more productive defensive line units in Virginia Tech this season with Antoine and Anais Peebles. Very good team, and Antoine is a part of that. With pick 15 of the NFL draft, the Atlanta Falcons will be selecting James Pierce out of Tennessee, edge rusher. This guy is dynamic. He's lightning in a bottle. James Pierce has a nasty plethora of pass rush moves. He's going to get to the quarterback, man. James Pierce will be getting to the quarterback for the rest of his life as long as he's in the league. He's one of those guys who he's going to get pressures. He's going to get in that backfield consistently. I mean, James Pierce, I took him at 15. He's probably someone who in a redraft will go higher because you got to remember all the quarterbacks I took, odds are all of them aren't going to hit. Odds are James Pierce is going to hit. Like, James Pierce is nice, y'all. So James Pierce to the Falcons bolsters up that edge rush unit. And at pick 46, the Atlanta Falcons, they will be selecting Darren Porter, cornerback out of Iowa State. Darren Porter is nasty, man. It's his first year at the cornerback position as a starter. He used to be a wide receiver, but before I talk about him on the offense or defensive end, he might be the best special teams defender. He is the best special teams defender in college football. He's the best special teams defender I've seen since Calais Campbell, Ed Reed, and Troy Polamalu. He's on their level of defensive playmaking on the special team side of the ball, if you know what I mean. He blocks punts and field goals like too much. It's too much. The first couple times it was luck, but it's at the point where it's a skill. Like Darren Porter, if you could just utilize him as a Swiss Army knife piece on the special team side of the ball, that would be cool. He will for sure get playing time there. But as a corner in his first year, dude averaged a less than 5 passer rating. Teams don't pass the ball his way in his first year at the position. He has a lot of time, man. Somebody like Will Johnson, who's already somewhat polished, and Darren Porter's like, I mean, Darren Porter had a better year than Will Johnson. He was healthy. He looked amazing. It's just that Will Johnson, his whole career, he's been good. So it's almost a safer pick. Just hopefully he stays healthy. But Darren Porter, his upside is scary. He could become something special because I'm drafting him in the second round after his first year of playing a new position. So kind of shows you how good he is. And the fact that he's played wide receiver in the past 3 years for Iowa State, it lets you know that his hands, when it's time to get an interception, he most likely is somebody whose hands are somewhat intact than not. And for the Atlanta Falcons, I believe that's it for them. Falcons fans, let me know how y'all feel about that draft. And with pick 16 of the NFL draft, the Arizona Cardinals, they will be selecting edge rusher out of Marshall, Mike Green. Mike Green is tough, y'all. He is so strong, and like I think he will be able to bully offensive linemen who aren't elite. Like what he did to Josh Cornelli, I think he could do that to like a lot of offensive linemen who aren't ready. Just like his core strength, man. He kind of he reminds me of Nick Bosa a little bit, like, but not Jared Verse. That's the better comp. Jared Verse, even though he's a rookie, like he's a power edge rusher who also got the moves, man. He might even have more power than a Nick Bosa, but Nick Bosa kind of shiftier. Um, yeah, I think Jared Verse would be a better comp for him, but like, dude, those are two edge rushers who are really, really good. Jared Verse was just playing his rookie year, so like, I know he's really good, but I guess it's not known yet, especially when I'm comparing him and Nick Bosa with each other. But dude, Mike Green is nasty, and in the second round with pick 47, the Arizona Cardinals will be selecting defensive tackle out of Texas, Alfred Collins. This is a team last year that uh their defense wasn't the best, and their defensive line is even worse. So adding two people immediately to bolster that unit is amazing. Well, you got Alfred Collins, big boy in the middle who could stop the run consistently. Mike Green on the edge, consistently getting to the quarterback. And with pick 78 of the NFL draft, they're going to be selecting guard out of North Carolina, Willie Lampkin. Willie Lampkin is a guy who, on North Carolina, they play comp. He allowed one sack in 3 years. And the best part of it all is he's going to be on the Arizona Cardinals as a short offensive lineman. And this is something that people don't really understand. An offensive lineman who's 5'11" could play center for the Arizona Cardinals and play that Rodney Hudson role. Kyler Murray's best years was when the shortest center in the NFL, who was also the best center in the NFL, played on his team. Kyler Murray needs short offensive linemen. He's short. And if you could get Willie Lampkin as the GM, like I'm letting y'all know, I'm the GM. This is how I think. I think of every single advantage I could get for my star players. I want to set my star players up for success. And Kyler Murray having a 5'11" center who's really good will make his life so much easier to throw over people. We all know that Kyler Murray's short and he can't see over the middle of the field. Get him a 5'11" offensive lineman who's really good. Oh, perfect fit. I would love that for the Cardinals. And Willie Lampkin is someone who I know is going to produce also at the NFL level. He's not a tackle, so it ain't like he's as coveted of a position. But you got to remember, Kyler Murray is like it's like 5'5". So like he ain't 5'5" for real. Kyler Murray is more like the same height as Willie Lampkin at that point. So it's not like impossible for him to see over him. I'm gonna search up Kyler Murray's height, and it says that he's listed at 5'10". So if he's listed at 5'10", we know he's 5'9", right? Okay, he's at least 5'9". Kyler Murray's 5'9" at least. So like the fact that he has a center who's not 6 feet tall, just towering over him, bro, that helps more than people may like think. Yeah, no, that's it for the Cardinals. And at pick 17, the Cincinnati Bengals will be selecting defensive tackle out of Ole Miss, Walter Nolan. This is a big upgrade for the Bengals, man. Their D-line was in the mud last year, dude. Walter Nolan comes in there, instantly changes the whole dynamic of the team from the run defense standpoint. He's going to come in there, hold it down, and as a pass rusher, he's also going to be able to come in and produce. So having somebody like Walter Nolan for the Bengals next to Trey Hendrickson is just an amazing thing. And to be honest, at pick 49, the Cincinnati Bengals are going to be selecting edge rusher out of South Carolina, Kyle Kennard. Kyle Kennard is another edge rusher who is productive as a pass rusher and a good run defender. So you're going to add two really good run defenders on your defensive line in this draft, and you're going to keep it pushing, man, because this is a team in the Bengals that could have been a scary team in the playoffs if they could just stop the run a little bit. I'm not even asking for a lot. If they could have just stopped the run a little bit, this Bengals team would have been a scary team in the playoffs. And to be honest, in round 3, pick 81, Omar Norman Lott is the selection here. He's a defensive tackle out of Tennessee. And the fact that he fell this far probably isn't going to happen. And if the Bengals could go overnight to a defensive line with Mike Green, Walter Nolan in the middle, Omar Norman Lott in the middle, BJ Hill in the middle, and Trey Hendrickson on the edge, what the bro? They just went from like terrible on like run defense and pass rush to like maybe the best in the league. Y'all, Mike Green is really, really, really good. In the second round, them getting Kyle Kennard, he's really, really, really good. And Omar Norman Lott is a crazy pass rusher in the middle. His run defense is also not bad because y'all gotta remember he's a defensive tackle at the end of the day. He's explosive and just that in the Bengals defense is just it'll change everything for the Bengals, man. They should draft, man. I got Walter Nolan, Kyle Kennard, and Omar Norman Lott for the Bengals, man. We will never have to talk about this team's defensive line production again if they were to just do what I did in the first 3 rounds. And then who knows what they do after, but holy, I got this Bengals team set for a playoff run. The offense is set. We know what the Bengals offense is. Their defense sucks, dude. And to the first thing as a GM, what I'm going to do to build a defense, I'm going to build the D line because, like I said, hate our run defense. I hate how we have one of the best quarterbacks, one of the best wide receivers. I hate how we have possibly the best offense of the league and can't make the playoffs. You know, that means I know where the problem is, and we ain't gonna fight it too much. And yeah, with pick 18 at the NFL draft, the Seattle Seahawks, they will be selecting wide receiver out of Arizona, Ted McMillan. He's not somebody who I'm as high on as other people. Kind of got him going lower. I got him going at 18, and I feel like that's like it's just a perfect fit almost. You got the Seahawks who have 2 slot receivers who are dominating their team right now. They got Cooper Kupp and Jackson Smith in the jig, but I don't see any of those guys as an outside option. And getting you an outside option like Tetra McMillan, who reminds me of Kelvin Benjamin and Mike Evans, he's gonna be able to play the outside for you immediately. McMillan is also like pretty decent with the ball in his hands, to be honest. He can make a cut or two and get into the open field. McMillan is not somebody to play with at all. And in the Seahawks offense, where he's going to be dominating the outside looks, and he will be starting because they don't have another outside receiver, that would be an amazing opportunity for him and for the Seahawks to get a receiver that fits their roster. Pick 50 of the NFL draft, the Seattle Seahawks will be selecting edge out of Arkansas, Landon Jackson. He is somebody who is a good run defender, and that's where it started at for me. The Seahawks could use a little bit of run defense, and he's also a good pass rusher. So, like, you had somebody that could play the run defensive side of the ball, get to the pass rush, and guys, Landon Jackson, he's 6'8". He has a little bit of the Calais Campbell effect, or he does have the Calais Campbell effect. At 6'8", he's a great run stopper, and he gets his hands on the ball with the bats. He got a lot of batted passes, similar to Calais Campbell. You got to remember, Calais Campbell is a 6'8" edge rusher who's a dominant run defender and gets his hands on the ball. I think similarly of Landon Jackson. Is he as good as Calais Campbell? He could be one day. He could be. So a great pick for the Seahawks. And with pick 52 for the Seattle Seahawks, we will be selecting Tate Ratledge, a guard out of Georgia. He's possibly the best guard in the class. I think Tyler Booker's better, but Tate is right there along him. And the Seattle Seahawks getting a whole new offense almost with Sam Darnold. They got a new receiver, DK gone. Like, this is a new identity that the team looking for. And honestly, since the Russell Wilson days, they've always had a lackluster offensive line. So with me in town as the GM, we're gonna at least, try with the offensive line, man. Cause I think we I don't like how I don't got a problem with the offensive line, but it could be better. It could be better. So I'm gonna go with Tate right here. And with our last pick for the Seattle Seahawks, or actually, wow, the Seahawks have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 picks in the first 3 rounds. Shout out to the Seahawks, man, because with their 4th pick in the first 3 rounds, they will be selecting the guy who I said is probably the best center in the class, but he's tore his Achilles. So, like I said, Seahawks haven't had a good offensive line since like the Russell Wilson days. And today we're going to revamp their
We're gonna revamp 66% of their interior. Shoot, 40% of the offensive line. Like just like that, we revamped almost half of the unit with Tate Ratledge and Seth McLaughlin, who, like I said, won Center of the Year, was playing amazing for his team, and then he tore his Achilles, missed the playoff run. So very unfortunate. But somebody who was on Seth's team and made the playoff run was Cody Simon, who I will be selecting last for the Seattle Seahawks. Similar to Denzel Burke, man. Maybe it's that Ohio State players, bro. Maybe that's what Ohio State like. I think Ohio State likes leaders, cause everybody on their team a leader, bro. Not everyone, but they got a lot of leaders on Ohio State, man. Just like you could see when somebody is a leader, like just little things, man. And just they Ohio State is a professional team out there. I need to get like that. Ohio State is just full of professionals. You know what? Today I just got some inspiration. I'm gonna become a professional. All right, yeah, y'all heard it. With pick 19 in the NFL draft, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will be selecting Jahdae Barron. Holy steel! Jahdae Barron might be a blue chip. I love Jahdae Barron. I might give him the blue chip call right here. Like I love Jahdae Barron. He's fast, elusive, sticky, gets his hands on the ball. He has a chance to be better than Travis Hunter. Like legitimately, he's on the same level as Travis Hunter. And I had Travis Hunter go 7 and him go 19. And it's because usually in my first couple mock drafts, I would have Jahdae Barron go with the 7th overall pick. But as I got onto the Missouri tape, Mambu. It's hard. Mambu might be a top 5 pick tomorrow because I am higher on Donovan Jackson than most people. So if Membu's not the third offensive lineman, he could be the first offensive lineman took tomorrow. Membu is that good, y'all. Like watching Missouri games, Membu's almost their offense. Like they run behind Membu, and that's just what it is. With pick 53 of the NFL draft, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will be selecting linebacker out of Ole Miss, CP3, Chris Paul Jr., CP2. Hey, you feel me? Hey, CP2, nice. Very much of a anticipate. He anticipates stuff at the linebacker position, which is what you want linebackers to do. The only thing about Cody Simon and the guy who I'm currently talking about. Who am I? I am deep in this draft, yo. Who am I even talking about right now? I know exactly who I'm talking about because it's CP3. You feel me? But CP3 and Cody Simon, their front sevens were so dominant that like I think Ole Miss and Ohio State had the two best front sevens in the league. I think Ole Miss was number 1 and Ohio State number 2. But like as a linebacker, how easy does it make it to anticipate tackles and stuff for Cody and um buddy who I'm talking about, CP3? How many times am I just gonna forget CP3's name as I'm describing his play style, y'all? I don't know. But he's a good pass coverage linebacker and like he's good in space. So I wonder how that works in the NFL. I'm not the best at gauging linebackers. If I had a position that I'm gonna tell y'all I'm least confident in gauging, it will be linebacker. Like they're just tackling, bro. Like I'm watching the angles and stuff, trying to like critique it because that's kind of that's what I'm here for. I'm here to critique these players, and I don't know how to critique linebackers, man. I don't even remember these linebackers' names, yo. And guess what I'm gonna do with the next pick for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? I'm gonna take another linebacker. Them boys gonna take 2 linebackers. Yes, sir. Levante David, you 35, bro. And you come in, mentor Chris Paul, and then after that you have Chris Paul mentor Carson. Or Carson gets mentored by Levante David also. No matter what, next year, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they're gonna have their Levante David replacements. I know that for sure because this man is 35. No way he's gonna keep playing at an all pro level in the NFL, right? Like Levante David is a dog. Shout out to Levante David, future Hall of Famer, first ballot, honestly. Even though first ballot, he won a Super Bowl with Tom Brady. Yeah, he's the first ballot Hall of Famer. And like he is the Buccaneers defense for the past like 20 years, yo. Like shout out to Levante David, man. OG holding it down. Um, Pick 20 of the NFL draft. We are going to take quite possibly the best player in the draft, Ashton Genty. Having somebody as good as Ashton Genty go in that pick 20 is something that I already told y'all about with Omarion Hampton. Omarion Hampton went at 38. I am a nerd. Okay. Running back make only $12 million a year. So if I take Ashton Genty with pick 20, I'm going to pay him around $8 million a year, and he becomes a top 10 paid running back immediately. You know, I don't want that. Being paid as a top 10 back, stepping into the league is kind of like, you know, rookie deal. It ain't the whole point of a rookie deal to get like a rookie deal, but yeah, Ashton Genty, bro, and most rookie running backs, most running backs come into the league in their prime because over time, all that happens is you get beat up more. So Ashton Genty, year one, has a legitimate case, especially if he's on the Broncos, yo, to win Offensive Player of the Year. Like, dude, this offensive line is built, and I'm one of those nerds. Like I said, I do not take running back unless you have a young quarterback or a star quarterback with a good offensive line. Like, if you don't got those things, I don't see no reason for you needing a running back. Yeah, like I said, I'm a nerd. Because you could have easily gone out and paid one instead of giving Ashton Genty a top 10 paid back money. You could go out and pay a top 10 back. It's the fact that like even though I know Ashton Genty's good, and the reality of life is that it's a risk because he's top 10 paid at his position day one. So, like it's not like you getting a deal out of him, but at the same time, you getting the real deal. You getting Ashton Genty, bro. So yeah, bro. No, Ashton Genty at pick 20. I don't gotta. I'm really explaining why it took so long because I'm a nerd. There's no other reason. I'm a nerd and wanted to take Ashton Genty at pick 20. Next for the Denver Broncos at pick 51, they'll be selecting wide receiver out of Oregon. We got my stat, bro. We got Tej Johnson, bro. Chill out, stat, bro, because this is a team that yo. Cortland Sutton, Tej Johnson, Ashton Genty with that offensive line. They added Evan Ingram. Bo Nix has no excuse already. Like, Bo Nix is gonna have a tough time because he got no excuse, bro. He got an offensive line, weapons, a defense, and like the only thing that defense is missing is a cornerback too, and they play a lot of man. So I'm gonna select Zach Frazier out of UTSA. I believe he went to. Uh, Frazier is a good man corner. He is sticky in man coverage, and it seems like that's what he played most. And he was one of the players who were higher in the league for interceptions on the year. And like I said, he's also good in pass coverage. The reason why he's not a higher pick is the school he went to. Like he played well, but he didn't play that well of competition like his peers did. So like that's one thing that I realize some people don't understand because there's this one tackle from Charles Grant who I seen getting mocked in the first round a lot because he hasn't allowed a sack in his career and he got like a high PFF grade. You gotta account for the fact that he's playing at like a Division 3 school, no? Like not even a little bit. You gonna take him in the first round off a Division 3 like play? Okay, you feel me? Y'all go ahead, go crazy. Go crazy. Go ahead and do what you do. For me personally, nah, bro. Nah, bro. You gotta be at least D2. You feel me? At least, dog. But where was I? With pick whatever it is, the Broncos do go with Frazier though. Good corner who's able to be a threat on the outside next to Patrick Surtain. He doesn't get the ball thrown his way that much at UTSA, like I said, because he went to like a Division II school, and you know he locking them up. He locking them up. He's intercepting everything. Why throw the ball his way? And I agree with those teams. Patrick Surtain is going to be on his team this time around in the NFL. So like he's going to be what gets targeted, and I think immediately in the NFL we'll find out if he's good or not just because he plays alongside Patrick Surtain. Literally, last year on the UTSA, they were scared to throw his way. And when they did, it was a turnover, or like most of the times, not a completed pass. So, Ja Frazier, shout out to you, and on to the next with pick 21 in the NFL draft. The Pittsburgh Steelers will be selecting defensive tackle out of Virginia Tech, Aeneas Peebles. Hey, Aeneas Peebles is a my guy. He's a my guy. Hey, as soon as I see you getting triple teamed like Myles Garrett and Aaron Donald would, though that there's like this 1 to 2 year span where Myles Garrett and Aaron Donald were just on a tear with everyone triple teaming them. Aeneas Peebles is the guy who they're triple teaming. Look, it's not me that's saying he's the best player on the defensive side of the ball. It's the coaches. The coaches are sending triple teams at him, and he's blowing them up. He's blowing up triple teams. I almost took him above Walter Nolan, but I got cold feet today. I got cold feet because Walter Nolan's really, really good. Okay, Walter Nolan's really, really good, and I know this is a my guy, so I don't want to be like too much of a my guy, but like, nah, man. Aeneas Peebles, I hope to God he finds him the right situation because holy, or he is the situation. Matter of fact, he's getting triple teamed. He is the problem. So like, shout out to Peebles, bro. With pick 83 in the NFL draft, the Pittsburgh Steelers will be selecting quarterback out of Alabama, Jalen Milroe. You know he cool. Jalen Milroe, all right. Is Mike Tomlin the type of creative coach to like get the best out of him? I don't think so. Mike Tomlin is a great defensive mind, but like I don't know if the Steelers are the team to get it out of Jalen Milroe. Um, I mean, Mike Tomlin, one thing that he could do for sure is put some heart in him because Jalen Milroe, when I was watching the Alabama games, every time he throws it, y'all go back and watch Jalen Milroe interceptions. He just gives up after he throws a pick. After he throws a pick, you know, like there are those strings to the side of the quarterbacks. He just takes the strings out, start looking down, walk away while the play's still going. Bro, go make a tackle. You threw the interception. And you threw it. You go make a tackle. And like, I don't care you're a quarterback. You're not a quarterback for real. You don't throw. You're not accurate. Go make a tackle, boy. Like, man, your legs are not the most important thing in your facet of your game, bro. It's your legs, bro. So with your arms, you can go out there and tackle. All right. Just don't trip nobody. Don't trip nobody because your legs are special, Jalen Milroe. Jalen Milroe could come in day one and be a top 5 runner of the football at the quarterback position. Who would be his competition? Jalen Hurts. He might be a better runner than Josh Allen, but I'll give it to Josh Allen. Lamar Jackson, Kyler Murray. Jalen Milroe might be a better runner of the football than Kyler Murray. In this episode that y'all are currently listening to, I told y'all that Kyler Murray is one of the best scramblers in the league. Or I told y'all he is the best scrambler in the league. That's the thing about it. Jalen Milroe is not a scrambler. He's a design running type of guy. And like, I don't know if Mike Tomlin is designing run plays for a quarterback. At the same time, though, come on, this Mike Tomlin more. Ooh, come on. Mike Tomlin, he could do something, especially with Jalen Milroe. We'll see. We'll see. But as y'all see, I'm not that high on Jalen Milroe. He has a big arm and is fast, but he's super inaccurate and he has no heart. Look, if Jalen Milroe had a heart, he'd probably be a first round pick for me. Maybe in the NFL he gets some heart, but it's just motivation for me. Like he always seems beat out there, man. And that's not what I want out of my quarterback. Y'all remember that game where Anthony Richardson just said, "I'm tired," and then the coach started to bench him after? Yeah, that's the type of vibes he gives me, man. Like he just, I don't know, man. I don't know. Jalen Milroe, dude. He's giving me Anthony Richardson vibes, and that's why I'm gonna take him in the third round. um,
With pick 22 in the NFL draft, the Los Angeles Chargers, they will be selecting defensive tackle out of Michigan, Kenneth Grant. This is a pick that is very much needed for the past half decade. Every year on fantasy football, if the Chargers don't go defensive tackle in the first round or get a run stopping defensive tackle at all this year in fantasy football, I'm telling y'all, get players that play against the Chargers. All right. Every week, if the Chargers don't do nothing to fix this run stopping ability that sucks, we need a draft or get running back every week. If your running back plays against the Chargers, start them. That's what I'm saying. All right. That's my guaranteed start for everybody who wants fantasy advice. If your running back plays against the Chargers and they don't get a defensive tackle that's an elite run stopper, that run defense sucks. Because this is the only thing that can save the Chargers' run defense. I feel like that's been their biggest problem. Um, I used to tell myself, as long as they have that right tackle that lost them the game against Max Crosby on their roster, they're not going to make the playoffs. And as long as they don't get a defensive tackle, that's all the Chargers have needed for the past couple years since they got Justin Herbert. Even when they had Keenan Allen, Mike Evans, all they need is defensive tackle and a right tackle. They got a Hall of Fame duo now in Joe O and Rashawn Slater. Now go get you Kenneth Grant. Go get you Kenneth Grant. Get you some run stopping ability in the middle. Holy, this team would be amazing, man. Because the Chargers team is not too far away. Chargers team is not too far away. And in the second round, they will be selecting another player out of Michigan. I didn't even realize this. Where did Harbaugh coach? Los Angeles Chargers head coach, because I got to see which Harbaugh it is first. It's Jim Harbaugh, and he did coach the Michigan Wolverines. Yeah. Wow. And I got Colston Loveland and Kenneth Grant going to the Chargers. Y'all, I'm not even realizing this until right now. That's wow. Wow. Chargers fans. This is how my board falls. I know other people are higher on Colston Loveland, but I got him personally as tight end 3, and maybe he could produce more if he goes back to Harbaugh. Maybe Harbaugh falls in love with him and takes him at 22. But at the same time, if Harbaugh is a Michigan guy, so like Kenneth Grant also at 22. So like, yeah, no, this is an amazing landing spot for Colston Loveland, a team that needs him. His play was subpar last year because of QB play, but he looks like a robot on the field. He moved like a robot. He's a move tight end that's just robotic, man. He's like a skinny robot. I like Colston Loveland, a professional tight end in the NFL right there. And to end off the draft for the Los Angeles Chargers in the third round, they'll be selecting T.J. Sanders. Like I said, Kenneth Grant and the Chargers' run defense sucks. Like Kenneth Grant in the pass rush isn't elite, but run defense, he could be the best run defender in this class. So the Chargers start off with that, and then they get T.J. Sanders next to him to also add on more run defense. Because I'm telling y'all, the Chargers' run defense like worse in the league when I watch. I hate their run defense. Everything about it. The amount of time they let people on the play on the field. I mean, the yards per run. I just hate the Chargers run defense. And if you could go get you 2 guys in the interior to fix that up, I think that might be even what's needed for this team. Honestly, that's what I'm telling y'all. If they don't get multiple defensive tackles in the draft, if your player plays the Chargers, start them. That's my fantasy advice for y'all. And yeah. With pick 23 of the NFL draft, the Green Bay Packers will be selecting edge rusher out of Ohio State, Jack Sawyer. Yeah, I love Jack Sawyer. I'm pretty sure Jack Sawyer is my guy for everyone, right? He just plays with so much electricity, man. He plays like JJ Watt, y'all. I'm not saying he's as good as JJ Watt. It's hard to call him the best one of the best edge rushers of all time, and I'm currently mocking him like in the late end of the draft. I don't think he's JJ Watt, but he almost plays like it. That's how he plays. Like that's how he moves.
I'm not gonna lie, he even has big plays like JJ Watt. JJ Watt is my comparison for Jack Sawyer, dude. And that's like that's not it. That's crazy, right? But like Jack Sawyer is really, really good, y'all. Like I know y'all. Hey, I was so happy when he made that crazy play in the championship game for a tutty. Like that's something JJ Watt would do, y'all. Like, you know, like go back and watch Jack Sawyer and tell me a lot of what he's doing isn't just what JJ Watt does. Look, JJ Watt is JJ Watt at the end of the day. I understand that. But Jack Sawyer is nice, and the Green Bay Packers had a disappointing season from Rashawn Gary a little bit, in my opinion. So getting some productivity from the edge rush unit would be a good thing for the Green Bay Packers. Um, Round two for the Green Bay Packers, they will be selecting Harold Fannin Jr. Y'all heard that boy Josh Jacobs? He said we need a wide receiver one. Well, guess what? You got a tight end one, a legit one too. I got him ranked as the second best tight end in the class. And Harold Fannin, who does he remind me of? Who's a? Ooh, I'm thinking of like Austin Hooper. Like Austin Hooper, y'all be seeing those crazy catches he makes. That's Harold Fannin Jr., Tyler Higbee, but like I'm pretty sure those guys are better run blockers than Harold Fannin. He's more of a move tight end. He's like Kyle Pitts, but with Austin Hooper's catching ability. Like Harold Fannin is a problem. He did play at a smaller school, so it's like where all those crazy catches just he was making crazy catches, huh? Playing out of a smaller school. Okay, okay, but at the same time, just it was flat out dominant. He had 1,600 yards as a tight end, y'all. Like, come on, man. Like he is dominant. And like I said, jump balls, and that's what a tight end supposed to do. So he's going to be a nice end zone threat, a move tight end, and he's possibly the best receiving threat on this Packers team. Like I said, he's wide receiver one on this Packers team. I understand that they ain't get wide receiver, but they got a receiver who's going to be the best on their team. Yeah, shout out to Harold Fannin Jr. Man, he is an underrated player that a lot of people are going to get put onto this year when he starts playing wherever he does. The last pick for the Green Bay Packers in the third round, they'll be taking Penn State safety Winston. This guy is somebody who he missed the whole season this year because of an injury, but last year he was the best safety in the class probably. He's a good run defender. He's a good pass coverage player. There's nothing not to like about Winston, and him coming back from an injury next to Xavier McKinney is going to be something that allows him to like come in and just be the background guy, learn from Xavier McKinney, and get back from your injury. Like this is a guy who, like I said, he would have easily been taken before a Malachi Starks if it wasn't for his nasty injury he's coming back from. So hopefully he can have a speedy recovery, stay healthy, man. Because we'll love to see you in the NFL shining next to Xavier McKinney, Kevin Winston Jr. on the way to Green Bay. Pick 24 in the NFL draft. The Minnesota Vikings will be selecting Tyler Booker out of Alabama. He will complete their offensive line. I could you not? The Vikings would be in conversation for best offensive line in the league if Tyler Booker is a decent NFL player. If Tyler Booker is your worst piece on the offensive line, you're a great offensive line. Because like the other pieces on that offensive line are just he is going to be the worst piece, and he's a first round talent. They have a very good tackle duo, and their interior they upgraded like crazy this year. The Vikings had in last year one of the top 5 to 10 tackle duos and a bottom 3 interior, and this year what they did with Ryan Kelly and Will Fries upgrading the interior is inspirational. So if they could get a center and right guard, you can get a left guard too. Why not? Replenish that whole interior you had a year before. There ain't nothing to like about it, man. Ain't nothing to like about an interior that they was hooping with. And yeah, if they were able to get Tyler Booker, that would work wonders for them. With their last pick in the third round, the Minnesota Vikings will be selecting cornerback out of Kansas, Kobe Bryant. Yes, sir. Shooting like Curry, like Kobe, shooting like Curry. No Kobe, shooting like Curry. Kobe Bryant. Yeah, this guy tough, man. I'm yapping, y'all. I'm just singing. I'm just bored, yapping, doing my mock draft video, talking about these players. Kobe Bryant is another guy who was very high, I believe, in the league for interceptions. He had a game against Houston that kind of skewed it. He had 3 interceptions against them, but like that's something that only a good corner could do. Like I don't want to just say, he had 3 of his interceptions against one team. He's a bum. No, no, Kobe Bryant is good. That's why he's getting drafted to the Vikings. They need a corner, and Kobe will sit there and alongside Byron Murphy upgrade the room. And this is a team that like their defensive coaching staff will work wonders with him. The Vikings do run a little bit of man more than Brian Flores used to. So Kobe is very skinny and is gonna have to find a way to work with that. But I think Brian Flores is the guy to figure that stuff out with the way that his ball skills are and little stuff like that. I ain't worried about Brian Flores finding a way. He's the last defensive mind that I'm really worried about in the league. Brian Flores got the defense stuff down, and he got it, bro, with the defense, man. Um, Pick 25 in the NFL draft, the Houston Texans will be selecting linebacker out of Alabama, Jaid Campbell. He is somebody who's an all-around piece. He kind of reminds me of like Bobby Wagner, y'all, but he's not as good, of course. But Bobby Wagner could play the middle. He could rush the passer. He could blitz. Good in pass coverage. Good tackler. Bobby's just everything as a linebacker. And so is Campbell. Campbell's just everything as a linebacker. He's your typical all around linebacker. Probably the best linebacker in the class, him and Jalen Walker. But like just as an all around linebacker, a pure linebacker. Because Jalen Walker, I'm kind of struggling if he's an edge linebacker or what. He's Micah Parsons to me. But like I don't know. I don't know with him. But one thing that I do know is Jaid Campbell is an all around threat at the linebacker position. And it's just another one of those guys who in the middle of the defense is a leader. He has control of the defense, and you can just tell. And that's something that I want on my team. And he also went to the team that my head coach played for, and he coaches us. So like, bring that Alabama culture out here because that's what we love. And we're gonna have a linebacker finally on the Houston Texans since I, I was trying to think of this oh Cunningham. Zach Cunningham. I think that's the name I've been looking for since yesterday. Zach Cunningham. Texans fans, just y'all know who I'm talking about, that linebacker from like 2-3 years ago. But next in the second round, the Houston Texans will be selecting cornerback out of Notre Dame, Benjamin Morrison. Um, Him falling so low in the second round is probably a surprise for some people because the Texans have picked 58, and Benjamin Morrison is viewed upon as like a first round talent to some people. And I don't hate it. I don't hate it. Benjamin Morrison is a good player. Benjamin Morrison, getting drafted in the second round, for reasons. He's a good press man corner. He has the length. He speed. Is he the one that like dipped his 40 time? I don't know. Or no, that was Will Johnson. But he's just your typical outside corner, bro. Like he's no problem with that. And he has good instincts. Like he is a good outside corner. He is a good outside corner who's versatile. Him on any scheme, really. He's the guy that's not scheme dependent. He has the height. He could add the weight. He has the wingspan. He has the speed. He has the ability to play man and zone. It's just his upside. I don't know what it is, but maybe I could have put him higher than Will Johnson. But at the same time, him and Will Johnson are very similar to me. Just Benjamin Morrison has been healthier, what it comes down to. So Benjamin Morrison to the Houston Texans probably is still at pick 58. Probably is still at pick 58. And I'm pretty sure that they would be happy to run to the table with that. In the third round, the Houston Texans will be selecting tackle out of Boston College, Ozzy Chapello. This guy is a right tackle, so he fits a position of need for the Texans. And we at the point where like he's a good offensive lineman. And like it wouldn't hurt to like have a swing tackle at worst for the Texans at this point. Their offensive lineman it's just a whole entire group that they're trying to replenish. So, getting Ozzy to maybe be a piece in the future, or if one of your pieces do get hurt throughout the season and he could come in and replace a guy, that'd be cool. I don't know if he'd be the best like player because he's 6'8", 24 years old already, and like he wasn't amazing in college, and like he's 6'8", 24 years old, so like hopefully in the NFL, things can get better. And his dad was like a player in the NFL too. So like he played offensive line in the NFL. So those are usually the guys who they'll have their dads mentor them. He's 6'8", 24 pounds, no, 24 years old, 310 pounds. Like his dad could mentor him a little bit while the Texans give him some motivation. Like Ozzy is somebody who the Texans, like I said, swing tackle or maybe become their right tackle of the future. You never know. The last pick for the Houston Texans, they will be selecting defensive tackle out of Indiana, CJ West. Wow, you got Will Anderson, other buddy, Daniil Hunter. Daniil Hunter is so nasty, y'all. Holy, he's been underrated for so long. I'm happy that he found him a good team because those days on the Vikings were treacherous. He had a duo. Oh, it was a Darius Smith. Yeah. So like, yeah, Daniil Hunter always got him a duo because he used to stay hurt. You would need another guy next to him. But now, ever since he's been staying healthy, one of the best edge rushers in the league. Like he's always had the potential to be. And matching him up with Will Anderson was amazing last year. And kind of realized last year they could have used more juice in the middle. It wasn't terrible. Shadow Ranch is not terrible. But CJ West, why not? Get you a little better run defense. You got the pass rush already. And just build this defense up. That's what the Texans kind of did in this draft. They got Benjamin Morrison, Jair Campbell, and CJ West. They also got an offensive lineman, but this team is at that point where like they don't got too many needs, but they need some stuff. You don't got too many needs, but they need some stuff. So we'll see how the year go out for the Texans after they get an amazing draft like this. Honestly, this was a special draft for them because Benjamin Morrison falling that far at pick 58. Like these corners are actually good in this class, man. I got Benjamin Morrison going at 58 is crazy, huh? Pick 26 of the NFL draft. The Los Angeles Rams will be selecting wide receiver out of Ole Miss, Trey Harris. Trey Harris might be my wide receiver one of the class, y'all. I know I took McMillan first, but like I said, I'm gonna drop my big board tomorrow. Stuff has to get correlated when you're doing a draft. One guy's coming off of an injury, the other guy's coming off of a fully healthy season, and McMillan, like, I don't know how I feel about him entirely, but I do know that he's boomer bust. McMillan is boomer bust. Like that guy, he has his day. He looked like Mike Evans, and like, actually, I'm lying. He always looks like Mike Evans. It's just like, will he look like that in the NFL? We'll see, but I can't doubt it, right? He's looked amazing. But on the other end, you got Trey Harris, who's like, he's looked like DK Metcalf with a bigger route tree. So it's like, whoa, DK Metcalf with a bigger route tree. Okay. And you've seen the difference between Ole Miss when they had Trey Harris and not. In 8 games, he had 1,000 yards. Like, no one's going to sit here and tell me that Trey Harris isn't like one of the better wide receivers in the class when he had 1,000 yards in 8 games. You can't tell me Trey Harris isn't one of the best wide receivers in the class and Jackson Dart is not a first-round talent if he had 1,000 yards in 8 games. Are you telling me that he's just playing straight bums in D1? Like, are y'all telling me People are telling me Jackson Dart isn't a first round pick and Trey Harris overrated. I think those people work for companies, man. I'm at the point where I'm starting to think everybody works for companies and have their own little goals. I'm at that point, yo. You're telling me Jackson Dart and Trey Harris are not round one talents? Whatever. Those are NFL teams. Look. I'm gonna spread a rumor. Those are NFL teams spreading rumors. All right, I'm gonna spread that rumor that NFL teams are spreading rumors. Okay, because like Jackson Dart, not first round talent. Shut up. With their second round pick, or actually the Rams don't have a second round pick. So with their third round pick, because they have two of them, the Rams will be selecting. Oh my God, a guy who I fell in love with this weekend, O'Donnell Fortune. I didn't get to his film until this weekend because I'm doing a full on mock draft. Dude is like he plays multiple receivers at once. This guy is nasty. He's nasty. O'Donnell Fortune, and then he's playing at South Carolina. So like the corner who I took above him, Ja Frazier, he's better than Ja Frazier. On my big board, you always see where I have O'Donnell, but Ja Frazier is on a scheme fit. That's one thing about the draft. And me as a GM, I'm not the type of GM to draft a zone corner in a man scheme and wonder why he's not producing. No, I'm not that type of GM. I will never be. But one thing I do know for sure, the Rams run more zone than the Broncos. So like O'Donnell being in a zone coverage that allows him to play multiple people at once, like he's capable of. Oh my God, dude, O'Donnell, you're worth a fortune. Like I see why that's your last name, dude. Like this guy is nasty, man. Shout out to O'Donnell Fortune. Last pick for the Los Angeles Rams in the third round. They will be selecting with pick 101, Demetrius Knight. One of the older prospects in the class, plays the linebacker position. I'm at the point where the Rams just need some tackles. No cap. Demetrius Nice. And there ain't no reason that you can't draft him. You know? End of the third round. He probably goes before that, maybe. Demetrius Knight ain't bad at all. But at the same time, he is older. He plays a linebacker position that isn't highly coveted. So, like, that's why he fell for me. You know, why he fell for me. Next up at pick 27, we have the Baltimore Ravens. They will be selecting Princely Uman. Out of Ole Miss, this guy is nasty, bro. He gets to the quarterback. He is so elusive, jiggy. It's nasty spin. Nasty spin. He need to chill out before he become DeMarcus Lawrence, yo. He need to stop with that spin. All right. You know what's my player comp for Princely? Pascal Siakam. Yeah, we going to the NBA for this player comp, yo. This man with that spin move is crazy. He is crazy with his spin move, bro. And like he has other moves too. So like he know what he doing, bro. He has the pass rush set down, and it ain't too many young players at his age with that. So like imagine when he get older, is he gonna become better with his hands, or is he like so good that he could not get better with his hands? If he could get better with his hands, this is a problem for the league. Letting the Baltimore Ravens get an edge rusher like that. That's a problem because they already got other buddy on the other side who's not amazing, but he's productive, you know, and that's all that matters. Next up, we got in the second round, the Baltimore Ravens selecting Andrew. With pick 59, the Baltimore Ravens, they will be selecting Andrew Mukba. He's a nice man, nice little free safety. And the thing about having Andrew is you're gonna allow Kyle Hamilton to not only play deep. Kyle Hamilton could go deep sometimes, and he could be Jamal Adams now. Kyle Hamilton, I was wrong about him last year. There was a point of the season where I was like, yo, is this Jamal Adams in the box? But when the Ravens realized that they need help in the secondary, who they called on to start playing safety was Kyle Hamilton. They let go of Marcus Williams and said, Kyle, even though we love you closer to the box, we need you playing deep. And Andrew, if he could do anything, He could probably play deep by himself, y'all. Y'all remember how the Patriots used to use Devin McCourty in single high coverage, and the rest of the team has corners like Jonathan Jones, Stephon Gilmore, and that stuff, and they would just press? That's something that the Ravens could do if they get Andrew. Like PFF gave me the idea of comparing him to Devin McCourty, and I kind of love that comparison, yo. I read like the notes while I was drafting him, and they compared him to Devin McCourty, and that's a real cool comp, man. I can't take the credit for that one, man. Uh, you have Devin McCourty with Kyle Hamilton. That's a crazy good matchup. You got your typical deep free safety and your strong safety who's just gonna like confuse the defense entirely. So that'll be a cool thing for the Ravens to have.
All right, next up, we got the Baltimore Ravens in the third round. They'll be selecting Jalen Walker. Not Jalen Walker, but the other Jalen Walker, the one that played for Indiana. The other Jalen Walker is nice too, man. I think that he is more of a linebacker than an edge rusher, but he is a dynamic playmaker all around the field. He's just running around wild, making crazy athletic tackles. I love Jalen Walker, dude. I think he's underrated. I think the other Jalen Walkers are underrated, y'all. Some of y'all didn't even know there's two Jalen Walkers who play similar, you know? And the other Jalen Walker, he went to a higher school and like he had two monstrous games against Ohio State. But if he didn't have those two monstrous games against Ohio State, other Jalen Walker might be viewed upon higher. You know, that's the thing about Jalen Walker though. You can't take those two games away because it was against Ohio State. You can't take that away, bro. And what he was doing, like he was blowing up the edges, bro. Like you can't take that away from him. And yeah, shout out to Jalen Walker, the other one who will be going to Baltimore because I think he's just a good NFL player, especially next to Roquan Smith. Like I told y'all, he's super athletic all around the field, making tackles everywhere. You have that next to Roquan Smith, you chilling, bro. He don't even got to be the best linebacker for the next 5 years on the Ravens. All he got to do is be Devin White. And I think he's capable of that. Be Devin White to Levante David. Why not? Go ahead and just make crazy athletic plays next to me. Um, Next up at pick 28, we got the Detroit Lions. They will be selecting another edge rusher out of Ole Miss, Jared Ivey. Um, I just brought up someone's name and I was like, wow, that would be a perfect player comp for Jared Ivey. Um, Somebody who I've used already today, and like y'all could probably tell I'm in love with, is Jared Verse. He uses the power pass rush move, and he has crazy pursuit. Jared Ivey has, besides Jared Verse, some of the craziest pursuit I've ever seen. Those boys don't give up. They just keep running. They keep running. You know, like just keep swimming, just keep swimming, just keep running, just keep running, run it, run it. Jared Ivey don't give up, and that's a motor that you like. And on the Detroit Lions, that's something that's going to get him playing time also, especially the fact that Aiden Hutchinson, you know, we don't know what's wrong with him. We don't know when he's coming back. I heard that he could have came back for the Super Bowl, but like, come on, man. Like, just they could use another edge rusher at this point of the time, man. Next up, we got a guy who is super underrated, Jabbar Muhammad out of Ohio. Next up, we got cornerback out of Oregon, Jabbar Muhammad, super underrated. He's ranked in the 300s. Chill out, y'all. He ranked in the 300s, and I got him going in like the 50s. Like, that's the exact reason I told y'all I am not looking at any mock drafts. I'm not looking at anything. I'm just watching games. And if I do see a little stat, it was on Instagram, and I didn't really want to see it, but I saw it. You feel me? So, like, after that, bro, it's just straight film and just analysis. Jabbar Muhammad is sticky in man coverage. Y'all gotta remember he's playing at Oregon. So like he's not playing against these bummy teams or nothing. So like he's sticky in coverage against the top dogs. Um he played against Jeremiah Smith and held his own, you know, like y'all got him ranked at 300s and he held up his own against Jeremiah Smith, who y'all probably gonna have like as a top 5 player next year. Okay, okay, okay. Does that make sense? I don't know. Not to me. especially when he was good against other players throughout the entirety of the year. It don't make sense to me. But if it makes sense to you, go ahead and do what you do. You know. I also think I'm lying. I don't think Oregon played Alabama this year. Um, there was somebody who I was watching Oregon play, and yeah, Oregon did not play Alabama this year. Oregon's schedule. Who did Jabbar Muhammad lock up? And I was just like, you know what? You got my respect. They played. Oh, they did play Ohio State in the Rose Bowl. That okay? I do think that's what I watched then. If Jeremiah Smith went off, but he did nothing against Jabbar Muhammad. I watched the game, so like that's kind of why I was confident in saying that. Even though the game wasn't even on the schedule, it was a bowl game. So like, how much do I want to consider that? But at the same time, it was January 1st. No, this was the Rose Bowl game. No, that matter, right? I don't like I told y'all, I am a college football casual. Matter of fact, Oregon played Ohio twice last year, and they ended up beating them the first matchup by a point. Is this another game where Jeremiah Smith went off? He's just always going off. All I know is the game where I watched Jabbar Muhammad, it was closely watching him to see how he does up against those elite receivers on Alabama. They didn't even throw his way. So Jabbar Muhammad is somebody who I'm high on. Uh, a lot of people probably don't know of him, but hey, Jabbar Muhammad, dude, he's solid in every aspect of the game. I believe he can play zone, he can play man. Like some corners just like I said, scheme versatile, and having a scheme versatile corner in Jabbar Muhammad, who is also like he's on the smaller size, but like he'll figure out a way, bro. You probably just put him in the nickel or I don't know, but one thing I do know is he's capable of guarding Jeremiah Smith at 5'10". So like that means he's talented, boy. That means he's talented. Um Next up, the last pick of the draft, pick 102. Y'all, do y'all hear that? I made 102 selections, and I'm wondering why this video is so long. I gotta start speeding up, man. But we are wrapping it up. We only have four more teams after this, so I'm gonna speed it up a little bit. We got uh Jack Beck to the Detroit Lions. I saw rumors that they're also willing to trade Jamison Williams today. Don't know how true that is, but Jack Beck, to me, the reason I made this pick out receiver wasn't to let go of Jamison Williams. It was to make him better. They need a big body receiver on the outside. Jack Beck, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. When I was watching the TCU games, he didn't really pop out to me, but his stats say he got 1,000 yards. So I guess Savion Williams looked better to me, but I saw when I was doing my mock draft, Savion Williams was ranked below him, even though I got him like eons above. But I mean, if the board could tell me that Jack Beck is better, and I took Savion Williams 50 picks ago, and the Detroit Lions need an outside receiver, I'll just take him, man. He's nothing. I don't see what Jack Beck does, but like at the same time, you need players like that. You need players like who's that wide receiver for the Rams that has such good chemistry with Jared Goff, dude. You need Josh Reynolds. You need Josh Reynolds. All right, that's just what it is. Maybe he's honestly probably better than Josh Reynolds. Yeah. You need Josh Reynolds, and I'm gonna call you up Carson Beck. And hey, you seen how Jared Goff done with Josh Reynolds, so hey, Josh Beck. Um, Next up, we have the Washington Commanders with pick 28. They will be selecting Ohio State edge rusher JT Tumalama with pick 28. JT is somebody who I think is a really good edge rusher. He has the refinement of moves. He has the swim move. He has it all. He has it all. Probably somebody that should have declared last year, but hey, he's still going to be a first round pick to me this year. That Ohio State D line was blur, and he was a big part of the reason. Hopefully, JT could go in the first round for him. And next up, the guy who probably should go in the first, the guy who will go in the first round, And Commanders fans, if y'all listen to my last mock draft, um, every single time in my mock drafts, this is my Jalen Walker landing spot. He plays like Micah, Dan Campbell. I love it. And I love it so much that I forced it at round 2. This was the only pick that I forced, y'all. I'm a bad GM for this. And I only forced it because like y'all heard me just kind of ramble about Jalen Walker earlier. I don't know how I feel about him. He's not bad. He's good, but like he's either Isaiah Simmons good or Micah Parsons good, and that scares me, y'all. That scares me. He's either Isaiah Simmons good or Micah Parsons good, but like at the end of the first round, he is somebody that a team like the Commanders for sure should take a swing on. And honestly, he's a first round player, bro. Jalen Walker's a first round player, bro. But like, I'm so scared. I like this is me showing y'all my true opinions, and this is me not standing on business, or this is me kind of standing on business and saying I'm scared of Jalen Walker. I see the upside, but I also see the downside. You know, so like we'll see. We'll see with Jalen Walker, but no matter what, he'll be a productive NFL player. Like I said, Isaiah Simmons is a productive NFL player. I think he'll be better than Isaiah Simmons. Isaiah Simmons is as bad as it gets, you know. So like, yeah, as a Giants fan, trust me, I'm telling you, Isaiah Simmons is as bad as it gets. Unfortunately, because I loved him coming into the draft, and I hate saying that about him because I'm wrong about him. But hey, that's just how it be sometimes. Pick 30 of the NFL draft. The Buffalo Bills will be selecting safety out of Notre Dame, Xavier Watts. This guy could get his balls on the hands. Or what? Huh? This guy could get his hands on the ball, right? What am I saying? Yeah, it's time for me to wrap it up, bro. We are 2 hours in. Y'all, if you are still here listening to me yap about a mock draft with 3 rounds, giving you my analysis on these players, how I feel about them a day before the draft, shout out to you, man. I said it once, I'll say it again. I love you. Do you love me? You're 2 hours, and so that's maybe. Yeah, you've been listening to me for 2 hours. Maybe you like me as much as your girl do. Oh man, I'm trolling, dog. But Xavier Watts is a really good safety who can get his hands on the ball. Will sit there and no matter what, being upgraded above Damar Hamlin. I'll tell you that much. Y'all love playing Damar Hamlin, Xavier Watts. You feel me? Xavier Watts. Don't gotta say too much. He's probably, in my opinion, probably he is the best safety in the class. This safety class doesn't have too much competition. Malachi Starks is somebody who, honestly, if I could have took Kevin Winston for the Jets, I would have preferred that, but it's just not. It's just not. He played 2 games last year. You'd have to be super bold, but like it's not crazy because like he was the best safety last year, you know. But he stayed a year and he got hurt 2 games into the season. That's why you shouldn't do that as a college athlete. If you're a college athlete and you're listening to me and you have the potential or you are a lock to go in the top 2 rounds, declare, dude. I understand you may not be first round player, but there's 7 rounds. If you're in the second round, your team really is invested into you. So like if you could go in the second round, declare, man. Like that's what I would tell players if I was their agent. Just as soon as you are second round like prone, declare. Just because all it takes is one dummy to take you in the first. Literally. Um Next up, we got Savion Williams. He's somebody for the Bills. He gives them a different type of look at receiver, but at the same time, it's like, do the Bills need a receiver? I get you for questioning that, but he just gives the offense another weapon, yo. They already got Xavier Watts. They got them a couple pieces to fix up that D line and Shamar Stewart. May I add? They got 2 second round picks, so they got Savion Williams and Shamar Stewart, who I may add on. I am not high on Shamar Stewart, yo. Like, y'all heard me talk about it earlier. You're 6'6", 280 NFL body and can't do nothing against college players. But you got to remember, he's 6'6", 280 NFL body. So I'll take him in the middle of the second round because he's also a good run defender. And, like, that's something that this team could use.
especially like watching them against the Ravens last year. I feel like defensive tackle probably something I could have probably missed out on for them this draft. Maybe I should have took Shamar Turner instead of Savion Williams for this team. Bills fans, what do y'all think about that? I was talking earlier in this episode how Shamar Turner is one of the most special run defenders I've ever seen. So like maybe I should have took him to the Bills for real. He went in the third round, and in the second round I got them taking a receiver when they're kind of oversaturated at the position. Maybe I'm talking myself into Shamar Turner for the Bills, yo. Yeah. Yeah, Shamar Turner. I hope he goes higher in the draft than I have him because he is nice, yo. Um, but Shamar Stewart, on the other hand, Bills Nation, here we go. We got Shamar Stewart, bro. Whatever, dude. He's just too physically gifted to, let him go in the third, bro. So we'll just take him, bro. Whatever. Um, Pick 31 of the NFL draft, the Kansas City Chiefs, they will be selecting Josh Connerly. This is a guy who I'm not too high on, not too low on. In game, Josh Connerly looks good. He looks good in game. But like I also said earlier in this episode, Dylan Gabriel is one of the better scramblers in the league. So like, was Dylan Gabriel saving the studio? Like when I was watching the Senior Bowl, that's all I was thinking. Though the way that Dylan Gabriel used to be scrambling for his life, was it a reason, yo? At the same time, though, Josh Connerly, like I said, the whole season he played pretty well. So he could be an end of the first round type of guy just because the Chiefs are on their knees. They got Jalen Moore at left tackle right now. So, like, whatever. If you get on your knees, bro, like I told you, as long as you're a second round talent, all it takes is one team. It's one team. Like, think about it. Pick 31 and 32. You have no idea what I'm about to do because I've shown you that you don't even know what I'm gonna do at pick 4. I took Donovan Jackson at pick 4. I took Dylan Gabriel at pick 3. I took Jackson Dart at pick 2. Nobody else does that. And like, we'll see how mock drafts go because, like I said, I haven't been listening to any mock drafts nor keeping up with them. So like, soon as I'm done with this video, matter of fact, while I'm editing this video, I'm gonna go listen to a couple mock drafts, man. Who my favorite mock draft guys? You got the franchise guy, you got or that franchise guy, you got Bro Schmo, you always gotta tune into the Mel Kiper ones just because the ESPN guys. Who else? I like that one white boy who's a Giants fan, bro. Bengal has. I did listen to one mock draft actually this year. I listened to Bengals mock draft because I'm a Giants fan. And like I just feel like I could relate. Y'all know what I mean, bro. But yeah, I did listen to one mock draft this year. I did, and that kind of that one mock draft skewed my opinion on Walter Nolan. And the thing about it is, Bengal is right. Like Walter Nolan is really really good. It just kind of skewed my opinions on him a tad bit to where earlier in this episode I told y'all I took Walter Nolan above Peebles. But at the same time, Walter Nolan is nice, dude. Nah, he's nice. Played at a D1 school, like I've been saying this whole time. Like D1 matters. He's dominant at D1. All right, Peebles is dominant, but like, come on, it's levels to it. So I understand. Next up, the Kansas City Chiefs. After taking a left tackle, they'll be taking a right tackle in Marcus Mabau. Marcus Mabau honestly might be better. Marcus Mabau got drafted after and might be better than Josh Cornelli, a right tackle who maybe would be able to place Jawan Taylor as soon as this year. No matter what, he'd be a great swing tackle for the team and a great development stash and develop guy. He has the build, he has the heart. He just give him a year. Give him a year. Maybe he could turn into Jordan Mailata. Like that's what kind of happened with Jordan Mailata. You take him, see the upside, let him refine his skills before he gets into the NFL, and just watch how he dominates. I wouldn't be too surprised if, or it wouldn't be the craziest thing if Marcus Mabau has a career trajectory that way. I do think very highly of Marcus Mabau, and him going in the third round is cool. Or second round, last pick of the second round type. It's cool. It's cool. Um, Last pick for the Kansas City Chiefs. I got them going with the edge rusher out of UCLA. Aladijo, watching LSU or UCLA play when I was trying to watch the Carson film, he was standing out. He was standing out in the corner of my eye, man. Like just while watching film on Carson, the linebacker, this guy just sometimes you just see stuff at the edge of your eyes, especially when it's an edge rusher and I'm watching linebacker film. So like yeah, yeah, no, it made me like inspired, bro. Olagio, not that bad at all, man. I'm saying inspired, dude. We are on the last pick. I am tired, y'all. It is 9:20 a.m. a day before the draft, and I haven't fell asleep yet, y'all. Like I have been editing this video, talking on this video, dude. This mock draft, I'm killed myself about this mock draft, huh? Hopefully the video does good. No matter what, I did my due diligence this year with the college football games and watching them and having my analysis on these players. I did my due diligence because we're 100 players in, and I just described 100 players to y'all in college football, like to the T. It's crazy. Shout out to these guys. Hopefully, they all have successful long careers. God keep them safe because NFL is a dangerous sport, yo. NFL is a dangerous sport, dog. You get your bones snapped. It's not an easy thing. It's not an easy thing. And yo, pick 32 of the NFL draft. We wrapping it up. What else besides the Philadelphia Eagles taking a edge rusher out of Georgia? How much do you hear that? Edge rusher out of Georgia come to Philadelphia. Michael Williams to Philadelphia. That's scary, yo. No, I don't think the NFL allows this. I think Michael Williams and Jalen Walker, yo, like those guys are lightning in a bottle. It's just like they like being in a bottle sometimes, yo. So like Michael, yo, he had a game, he had a couple games where he was just blowing shit up, bro, the whole entire game, bro. So like if he could have a game like that next to Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter, who I may add, and Nolan Smith, who I may add on, all went to the same school as him. So it's gonna be very easy for them to create bonds. They're gonna be talking about the same in the school bathroom because they're athletes, and there's gonna be that one girl that hits the whole football team. They're gonna talk about their favorite lunch meals at the school, and then they're gonna build a bond, and they're gonna look at each other on the defensive line and just run harder. They're friends. Power of friendship. We've seen the Miami Heat make a finals run off the power of friendship. The Philadelphia Eagles keep making their D line the power of friendship. Georgia is probably one of the top three schools in college football, and they always just take a piece off their defensive line. Why not? They went to Georgia, and Georgia think highly of them. So do I. And you know what? That's a great way to go about it because I don't hate that at all. I don't hate that at all. Georgia edge rusher to the Philadelphia Eagles. All right, if it ain't Mike Hill, it might be Jalen. Whatever edge rusher from Georgia available. If they there at 32, welcome to the Philadelphia Eagles. That's how it be, man. Y'all know that. Next up for the Philadelphia Eagles, this is a team that's usually always ahead of things, and I'm pretty sure they see that Lane Johnson, probably won't be there for too much longer, and their team is pretty set. So why not at your second round pick, go ahead and at pick 63 get Wyatt Millum. He didn't allow a single sack his whole career. I mean, yeah, he played at West Virginia, I believe it was. But, like round two, end of it, where you're first of all, you're gonna ask him to switch sides of the field because he's currently a left tackle. You're gonna ask him to play right tackle first of all. Whenever Buddy and Jane Lawson do retire. And another thing is he's a run blocker. So like him on the right side isn't a problem at all. And he will be on a team that, yeah, if he isn't the best pass protector, he's on a team that's gonna help him a lot with that. You're on the Eagles. You got Kenyon Green next to you. Kenyon Green do not. Okay. I can't say that no more. Well, what happened to the Eagles online? What changed about it? Landon Dickerson is really good. Jordan Mailata is really good. Lane Johnson is really good. You know what? Am I? Is it? Oh no, Okay, It's just Kelsey, I guess. Maybe that's just what it is, or whatever. Still one of the better offensive lines in the league, and if you can get Wyatt Millum to come in and be that strong run defender that he's always been, maybe even plug Wyatt. If I'm telling y'all Wyatt Millum is such a good run blocker, and he has question marks on pass protection, why not just plug him in at guard for a little bit until Lane Johnson retires and he could, be protected by Lane Johnson for the meantime? Literally. Wyatt Millum to the Eagles, please don't happen, man. I'm a Giants fan. I'm not trying to see them get Michael Williams, go in the other round, get a right tackle who hasn't left a single sack in 3 years and is an even better run defense or run blocker. I'm not trying to see that on the Eagles, man. I'm really not. And you know what I'm damn sure not trying to see on the Eagles, bro? Y'all, last pick of the NFL draft. Y'all, thank you so much for tuning into this episode. This was a grind. And thank you. Just 2 hours in, man. 2 hours in, talking about the draft. Um, y'all let me know, how do y'all feel I did with y'all favorite teams? Don't give me too many opinions on the Giants because, bro, we're 24 hours away. I'm about to just see what my team do. But you can give me opinions on y'all teams. Thank you everybody for tuning in. And me doing the outro without selecting the last player is kind of crazy because the last player is the craziest player in the college football world. Desmond Watson to the Philadelphia Eagles, man. And this is what the Philadelphia Eagles do, bro. They see a threat. They're calling him the tush push killer. The Eagles scared of that. Hold on. What you talking about, tush push killer? What makes this guy Desmond Watson the tush push killer? May you ask? Well, if you know already, you know, and I'm just gonna fact check it. Desmond Watson, wait, dude, this dude is a truck. He is 464 pounds. And while being 464 pounds, you want to hear the craziest stat, bro? His 40 time. He ran a 5'9". Like, look. I get it. A 5'9" is a 5'9", but he is 464 pounds and ran a 40-yard dash in 5.9 seconds. That's not terrible. He's 464 pounds. That's a big man. That's a big man. And like him just being a special team piece for rundowns, literally, like this Eagles team would be able to put Jalen Carter at edge to like begin run fronts, like what's his name? That skinny edge rusher they have. They can literally just put Jalen Carter at edge for first down and then move Nolan Smith back and have him just pass rushing. Like that's a scary thing for the Eagles, man. That's a scary world where they could put even Jordan Davis at defensive end and let Desmond Watson now be the guy who takes on all those tackles. No matter what, Desmond Watson will be the new nose tackle. They have two of the best nose tackles in the league. I would hate that, dude. The Eagles just get richer. They get Michael Williams, another Georgia D lineman, to build the chemistry. They get Desmond Watson, the biggest, the baddest defensive tackle I've seen for Desmond Watson's crazy. And then they get Wyatt Millum, who hasn't allowed a sack in 3 years. He hasn't allowed a sack in his collegiate career, and he's a better run blocker. So like the Eagles just gonna eagle, man. Even with pick 32, but guess what? I'm the GM, so I'm just treating the Eagles like they normally do, man. Being one of the best draft rooms. I couldn't believe it that they got Cooper DeJean last year. I betted money on him being the 8th pick to the Atlanta Falcons. And he won like 60 for some reason. And was the best like rookie defensive player almost. Like, Jared Verse exists, and y'all know that. I know that because I keep bringing him up this video. But like Come on, man. Why y'all letting the Eagles get away with murder consistently, y'all? But man, as a Giants fan and watching the Eagles get away with murder in my draft, I just gotta end the video, right? Thank you everybody for tuning in. Once again, like I said, we are 2 hours in, man. I'm literally since I stayed up this long, it's 9:30 a.m., y'all. I'm gonna have this video up for y'all right now. Not right now because I gotta edit it, but give me an hour. Yeah, it's 9:30 a.m. on Wednesday. The video should be out by 11 latest. I got y'all, man. At the same time, this is a 2 hour video, so look. It will start uploading no matter what by 11. Yeah, I got y'all, man. I'm locking in, editing this video. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Have a nice day. Once again, if you viewed my version 2 of this and you stayed the whole time, I love you. And if you stayed the whole time for this episode, first person to leave their Cash App in the comments, I got you. I ain't gonna tell you how much I got you with because I don't make promises, but drop that Cash App. If you're listening 2 hours in, I got you. Only one person, though. Only one person. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Have a nice day, and God bless.